Yeah, but how do we not?
Good morning and welcome to the ESL studios in Sydney, Australia. The ESL Australia and New Zealand Championship Season 1 Counter-Strike Global Offensive. It's day 2 of our finals. My name is Sam and I'm joined here on our analysis desk by Sniper and Jim Nesso. Gents, how are you going this morning?
Yeah, good. I'm balmy.
Yeah, you feeling good? It's a little bit chilly actually. I don't know if it's that balmy, but getting used to the Sydney weather here. Now, we have 4 best of 3s coming up for you today. The first one of those is, of course, going to be Athletico up against Exile5, the first game in the lower bracket. Jim, how did we get to here today? What happened yesterday?
Well, effectively, both teams underperformed by their standards and obviously by the standard of their opposition. So both of these teams will be looking to rectify the situation today and make their run through the lower bracket, not the loser bracket.
Yeah, exactly. We can see here, first game that we saw yesterday was Athletico Brotherhood up against Parallax. Parallax definitely turned up. They won on their pick of Cache 16-2, and then they won on Atletico's pick of Overpass 16-1. Which, if you're Atletico, that's probably hit hard, don't you think, Sniper?
Yeah, I mean, that was... we said it yesterday. That was a whitewash. So I guess starting off today, Atletico just want to get out of the gates really as strong as possible because it looks like if they get off on the back foot, then they're on it for the rest of the map.
How do you feel about Atletico, Jim? From yesterday, do they have an opportunity here up against a team like Exile5 who turned up? Atletico didn't turn up at all yesterday. No. Exile5 turned up, as we said, one map too late. So do you think that Atletico have an opportunity to progress through this lower bracket today?
Definitely, though. I think they have an opportunity to not only prove to themselves that they can do it, but prove to all the doubters that, yesterday was nerves, jitters, whatever you want to call it. Definitely an underperformance from them by their standards that they've held themselves to online. It didn't really translate to land. I think there was that teething issue, but from their perspective, it's a real opportunity for them to gain that experience. Yesterday they felt the lows. From here, hopefully there's a peak after that trough.
When we have a look at what Exile5 did yesterday, what they went up against the Chiefs Esports Club. When we talked about that game before it started, we were like, we're not sure that either of these teams are really ready for this competition. And we thought perhaps it might have been a little bit sloppy. First game, Chiefs won it pretty easily. Second game was a little bit closer, interestingly enough, on the Chiefs' own pick of Train. That went to 16-13. Do you think that Exile5 can turn up against Atletico? Or do you think Atletico, where they should be, is better than an Exile5 that we see today?
So I think Exile5 coming into this game, they'll be having a bit of confidence coming in against an Atletico that pretty much didn't turn up yesterday. And Exile5 can take a lot out of that close game that they had with Chiefs. We didn't really know what either of the teams were going to bring yesterday. Chiefs not having their usual in-game leader and also having that stand-in of Mungo. But what we did see is that their fluid play style and they just kept getting Exile5 rattled. And hopefully maybe Exile5 can come back today and learn from their mistakes yesterday and show Atletico what they can actually bring, because we only saw one map of it yesterday against Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true. And we talk about Mungo being that sort of stand-in at the moment, though to be fair, he's pretty good on his Black Widow sniper skills, isn't he? It's not too bad. Not too bad on the
It wasn't too shabby.
Yeah, it wasn't too shabby. So, Jim, how do you see today going? What is your feel for this? You have a bit of an idea of the Atletico team. You know the Exile5 guys relatively well. What is your sense of this?
Look, it's going to be an interesting day regardless, because Atletico, from their perspective, I think it's been quoted many times that they're a young, relatively inexperienced team. If they do make their run today, they'll get experience not only, I guess, fighting the grain, they'll be fighting their way through the lower bracket. Exile5, they've at least on their part got some experience in this. A steadfast in-game leader. He's been there, he's done that, he's performed at the highest level, obviously, in years gone by, but that experience doesn't go away from you.
Yeah.
He now just has to grab his team by the scruff of the neck and
Yeah.
essentially bring them up with him. We know he played quite well yesterday too, so I think, again, with these two teams, it's going to be pretty obvious who's playing well early on. Athletico, they didn't really show up yesterday. We knew pretty much immediately that that would be a trend that could potentially follow on. Exile5 surprised us on a map too late, essentially. So
Yeah.
it's going to be an interesting battle, and I think the map vetoes are definitely going to have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, for sure. So as we go through today's overview, let's have a look at our schedule. We can see here that we have Team Exile5 up against Athletico. That is the first game of today. It's lower bracket game number 1. If either of these two teams lose, they're out. If they win, they continue on. Our second game of the day will be the upper bracket final of the Chiefs Esports Club up against Parallax. Both of those teams won their game yesterday, and the loser of that game will progress down to the lower bracket final up against the winner of today's first game. Of course, then that winner progresses through to the grand final, and they'll be competing for that $5,000 first prize here, $10,000 the prize pool. You know, a bit of money for some of these teams as well. They probably didn't expect to see themselves here today for one or two of them, maybe.
It's a big slice of the pie.
Yeah, it's nice. I
It's,
could do with some extra cash.
Well, you should be a player then.
Mate, doing it wrong. Not talented enough in anything, unfortunately.
Mm.
So let's take a look at our first matchup of the day. Exile5 up against Athletico. Who are the key players in these teams?
well, from the Athletico standpoint, it's hard to identify one player, but I think definitely it's going to fall on the shoulders of Infrequent. And I say that because he's the biggest economic, burden on the team, if you want to put it that way. He's going to be picking up that AWP.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be trying to make an influence through that, and it's a big financial commitment for teams. And if that's not working out, essentially he's draining the team's money through that. So I think if it's going to be on anyone's shoulders, it's probably going to be on his first and foremost. XL5, I've said it before, it's going to be on Ferg's shoulders.
Do you agree, Ian?
For me, I think, they're both two very valid players for both teams. Ferg, obviously, with the strategy and being able to pull people up. But I think more for Athletico, what they lacked yesterday was Liaz. He just didn't turn up yesterday. Usually we're used to seeing big numbers by him. People are touting him as the next big thing online. So we really need to see him come back today and just prove that, he's a good LAN player and he can put up big numbers. And then for XL5, I think actually people who went missing yesterday were people like Mizu and Pex. I think today, to have any real chance, one of those guys needs to stand up and put some numbers on the board, because Ferg was outstanding yesterday, I thought, way higher than his usual level of play. And I also thought Zorbot was really good towards the end, started helping out a lot on train. So,
awesome.
I just think for those two teams, Liaz needs to do a lot better than yesterday. And that's probably where they lost a lot of rounds as well, because usually they rely on him. And I think Pex went missing yesterday, especially on maps like Cache, where that's one of his favourite maps.
Well, that's an interesting point. So, both those players you highlighted for XL5 have been players that have been, or have had that label on their head that they've been up-and-comers. They're really raw. They're players to watch, but that's gone over a period of time now. I think that time has now passed. It's time to step up. If they've, reached a ceiling, so be it.
It's time to get good, Jim. So I want to ask you guys for your predictions, but we'll take a look at the vetoes first. Let's see what maps we're going to be playing here in our first best of 3 of the day. XL5 vetoing out
Dust
Overpass, Athletico removing Cache. We'll see Mirage and Train, and then Dust 2, should we get to it. Boys, what do you think of these?
It's a bit weird. Strange to see XL5 vetoing off Tunnel after Athletico failed so miserably on it yesterday. I'm happy they vetoed Cache. I got to say that wasn't looking good for them at all.
I think they finally realised too that their CT side was that woeful that it needed to go, regardless of how good their T side is.
Yeah.
If you can't back it in with 2 solid sides of Counter-Strike, you're not going to win the match.
It's a check they couldn't cash. So, that wasn't intentional either.
You mean they couldn't cash?
Yeah. Athletico picking Train. This is going to be good. We're going to get to see Infrequent using his AWP, and we're going to get to see Seth again to see maybe if he can have a bit more impact than he did yesterday against Chiefs. So if it does come down to Dust 2, That's where hopefully, if it does get there, that's obviously showing that Athletico have brought something better today, a better product. And I think, just my personal opinion, that Athletico would take it on Dust 2.
Okay, so what is your actual prediction? Your score?
I'll go 2-1 to Athletico.
2-1 Athletico. Jim?
I actually, for once, do agree with Ian on
Yeah.
his
For
prediction.
once. Yeah, well, my
Well, we went
predictions,
against each other
they've
yesterday.
been pretty
and we'll
bad.
Yeah.
We'll see how that worked out. But look, I agree. I think if it goes to a third, Athletico will pip them on that Dust 2 pick. That Dust 2 occurrence. I think we predicted it to be in the map pool a little bit more so than it has so far. And I'm interested to see what Athletico have got on train.
Well, I guess let's go and find out, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to throw you over to our casting desk. Today, we have Elfish Guy and Mindstar.
Thank you very much, Sam. And yes, we have heard from the analyst desk. Mike, have you got any contrary opinions there? 2-1 for Athletico for both of our analysts.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. I guess it comes down to, with the map pool particularly as well, Mirage and Dust 2 are both maps that, as a leader in the game, as your in-game leader, if you can read the play well in those maps, then you can really affect the play. Train's more of a set execute sort of map. So I think in terms of that, I think that kind of leads more towards XL5 and the experience that Ferg has.
Right.
And particularly as he played a bit better yesterday than he has in recent months and going back a few years. I think that's those two things could lean it a little bit more towards XL5. But on the contrary to that, both of those maps, again, being a little bit more open, particularly with Mirage and Dust 2 in the long areas as well, that's going to lean towards the fragging power Athletico. So if they can regroup today and bring that fragging power that they've been known for recently, then that's probably going to give them the edge. So I'm going to agree with analysis and probably say 2-1 Athletico as well, with them picking up that third map on Dust 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, you mentioned the fragging power of Athletico, and to be honest, if the Athletico that showed up yesterday shows up today, the fragging power was almost non-existent. So
yeah, well, there was none.
It could be a bit of a dangerous situation here for Athletico. XL5 didn't look so bad yesterday. Obviously, they got 2-0'd by Chiefs, but I think there was some good points to take away, especially we saw the analyst speaking about Ferg putting out a good performance, Zorbot as well stepping up. So, whether or not Seth and Pex are going to be able to step up here for XL5 is going to be really the question mark.
Certainly, and we're live into the pistol round, so Athletico starting on the CT side, and that was a big instant from there as well. And this isn't good early on from Infrequent. He luckily gets away there and keeps most of his health, so that's good. Gets a first kill. So Jim was talking about at the start, Ian was talking about on the desk that a good start is important, and that's exactly what Infrequent has started off. The numbers advantage now, they can probably relax. But XL5 still have their set pistol strategy in here, ready to go. You can see a couple of flashes and smokes coming through. The A site is going to get taken.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. There's a couple of them heading up through the connector. Mizu is going to get the entry frag onto the site. Actually, two of them, Kyoto will be able to trade back, but in the end, it does look like it's going to be going, at least for the moment, in the favor of Athletico. They get a couple of kills to deny that entry, but as a result, we see XL5 starting to make their way towards that B-bomb site.
Athletico got a pretty good read of the scenario there, rotating fairly quickly to stave it off there, and Kyoto's already figured out the fact that they've gone across to the B-bomb site, but what he needs to do in this instance is just needs to wait for support from Church. So, and he's come across there now as well, so they're going to put the bomb down.
Yeah, Seth should get this one down pretty safely. No, actually, Kyoto going to push straight into the site, and, well, now XL5 really in a bit of a tough situation. Zorbot in the 1v2. We've seen him pick up a couple of nice clutches yesterday, but we'll see if he's going to be able to pull this one off. Chutch down to 1 HP. Zorbot going to be a little disappointed that he wasn't able to close that one out. Will push straight into the market and actually takes out Chutch, but there is the trade there for Kyoto, and the first round is going to go in the favor of Athletico.
Yeah, and like I said, Ian was mentioning that the fact that they needed a good start, and the pistol's important, but now they've got to make sure they don't get ecoed on this second round as well. So I know XL5 do like to run with the Tech 9 buy, and that's exactly what they're bringing out here. So pretty good A spawn as well there as well. They might choose to go in it quickly. And the buy is semi-weak. We've got a couple of the UMPs on that side and a P90 as well. It looks like it will be, again, an A split. That's what the intent was of last round, but mid-round call there, they decided to split back off and run across to the B-bomb site.
Yeah, you can see those few smokes being brought up here by XL5, so they have a bit of utility to work with to try and get into this A-bomb site, and Seth has done a good job of getting into mid, getting control of the bottom of mid there below the window, and now should have a pretty easy entry in towards the connector. No one really holding that for the moment. There is a player hanging around, and you can see another one starting to rotate across. Nice shot from Kyoto there, gets Pex, and already a good start in this round for Athletico. This is what they need.
Yeah, some nice shooting there, but 2 kills go in favour, and 3 kills, in fact, going in favour of XL5. And so this should be a wrap now as well. All I need to do is trade out the frags, even though they're a little bit low on HP. These 2 players shouldn't be able to get this done for Athletico. But they're going to try it anyway. They have to go into this round. No point in saving here, and they've picked up 2 already. It's a 2 versus 2 scenario.
Well, now this is certainly doable here for the players from Athletico. You can see a couple of flashbangs remaining on Kyoto. No kit available at the moment, so they do need to work a little bit quicker. Kyoto going to tap the bomb and see if he can find someone to peek, but XL5 well aware of this tactic, deciding to just play safe at the moment. Everything comes down to these final frags. Ferg is going to find one onto Sonic, and now it's down into a 1v2 for Kyoto. Almost an unwinnable situation. He gets 1 frag onto Ferg, but it's too late. He has to retreat, and the round goes in the favor of XL5. So we talked about Athletico needing to get that good start, and they did, but they weren't able to follow it up here, and well, now they've found themselves in a bit of a hole.
Yeah, some really just smart play in that round there from XL5. Ferg in particular, I mean, obviously that kill was pretty important towards the end in that 2 versus 2, but as well, just the fact that they weren't willing to run out quickly, playing off the timer, making sure that they were going through that round there and just draining it all out. So Athletico, interestingly enough, they're going to buy back into this with pistol armor and roll with that Famous that Kyoto has. But so far it hasn't worked out. Ferg taking the first kill into the mid window on Frequent. Obviously he's going to be playing there with his AWP when eventually Athletico get that economy rolling. But for now, Kyoto trying to do a little bit of damage from the mid window, not really picking up a lot there, and we're going to see a B split here coming up short and a couple of members coming through the right area here as well.
Yeah, some nice quick play coming out from XL5. Ferg already with 2 kills in this round. Mizu is going to be taken down big by Kyoto, but not too bad at all here for XL5. They get into the B site, they get control of it. The bomb is going to go down easily, and now Athletico going to have to either take the retake or go for the save. And, well, Liaz jumping through the smoke, not going to have much success at all. It's down to Kyoto once again in a disadvantaged position.
He should really just try and save this Famous and do a little bit of damage with it again next round. He's not going to win a 3 versus 1 with this amount of time left on the clock, and Seth will probably pick him up rather quickly here. There it goes, picking up the extra bonus cash to go with it using the SMG. So 2-1 now in XL5's favour, and that force buy that they did as well, that pretty much drained the economy for 4 players on Athletico. Kyoto, the only one with some cash. Of course, he saved that Famous from the previous round. So now this is going to be pretty much a full eco. And I guess in terms of coordination, one of the things I saw yesterday is that Athletico weren't really doing anything with their CT ecos. They were just sort of setting up, just putting one in one scenario. But here they go. We can see quite a lot of presence up mid and quite a lot of slaughter.
Wow. Absolutely slammed.
Yeah. So, but at least there's some intent there, some teamwork there.
Yeah.
It shows that their mindset's probably a little bit better than it was yesterday, because when you're getting smashed, and it's really hard to come back, and that comes down to the inexperience as well. You stop doing things like grouping up together on ecos, where you're going to try and trade your firepower into one area to combat the weapon disadvantage that you have. So, moving into the first gun round, and Frequent has the AWP, and he has moved on to the mid area again. Sorry, not here. I was looking at the wrong part there. So it's a Frequency here in mid, and in the Palace. And Chutch has gone in mid with the M4, so a little bit of a change there. And it's a straight execute from XL5, the early frag going their way as well.
Yeah, and Frequent dropping back down into the side, holding it Ninja for the moment. I guess not the ideal position for the AWP player to be in. XL5 going to try and get the bomb down, but Chutch spraying through the smoke, takes out Ferg. Already a bit of a good defense coming out here for Athletico. Things looking a little better on their gun round so far. And XL5 at the moment really just stuck in position.
It was a good play from Athletico to drop out of the site when the execute came in. They weren't able to challenge. They were going to get themselves isolated if they tried to challenge individually on the site. But that wasn't the case. Liaz is trying to get something done, but Mizu picks up his second for the round, and he's looking for more as well. And he's only done it with Galil. So back into a 3 versus 3. Make that a 3 versus 2 in favour of Athletico now. And again, they're just trying to wait the time out and see what XL5 are doing. That's the right strategy in this instance.
Yeah, well, XL5 trying to rotate that bomb perhaps over to the B bomb site. You can see Mizu here on your screen running around through the T spawn. I mean, his counterpart, Pex, hanging around in the jungle, might be able to find a frag here, actually not landing the shot. And in the end, does redeem himself and picks up Sonic. Now going to peek straight into Infrequent, but Infrequent deciding not to take the shot. And this is dangerous there for Pex. Infrequent will, in the end, pick up that kill. But this is going to allow Mizu to get the bomb down on that B bomb site. Just enough time left for him, 13 seconds. And now he'll have to defend against this 2v1 retake. Certainly a doable situation here. Infrequent only on 13 HP, but looking in the complete wrong direction. Chutch finding himself an easy frag, and a round goes in the favor of Athletico.
They needed that as well, not only scoreboard-wise and economy-wise within this match, but in terms of giving themselves a little bit of confidence as well. So Infrequent with a 3K in that round. But because of the fact that they've lost a couple of rounds, they haven't been able to build up economy, this buy is going to be okay for most of them. We can see a Famis there on Sonic. And XL5 getting that bomb down again allows them to buy easily into this round 5 AKs.
Yeah, so XL5 going to be looking to get a bit of mid-control, it seems. Trying to charge straight in there, but they're going to run right into a big stack from Athletico. 3 players from Athletico there. Chutch doing the lion's share of the work at the moment. Infrequent will chime in with 1, but those 2 initial frags there for Chutch and getting a 3rd for himself as well really are going to be, I guess, the ones that are putting this in the favor of Athletico. Only 1 player remains for XL5. It's Seth, and he's up against 3.
Another good variation from Athletico on the CT side here. Again, something we weren't really seeing yesterday. So they're trying to take a whole different areas of the map differently from round to round, and it's starting to work out for them as well. Even Seth's in a 3 versus 1 here, so obviously you can probably count him out from winning the round, statistically speaking, of course. But because of that low economy that the Athletico have at this point, if he can kill 2 and then get traded out in the last one, that's going to be a really good, really positive thing for them. But not going to be the case. Chutch finishing off the round there as well. So Athletico, they're starting to turn up.
Yeah. They're certainly looking a lot better today than they did yesterday, but I guess that's not really saying much considering they only got 3 rounds in 2 maps.
Well, hey.
So they've already, yeah, you're right. They have already leveled their score from yesterday, so they're doing a good amount of work at the moment. Still, let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
Yeah. One of the things that Sniper mentioned as well is Liao's getting into the game as well, but so far he's not yet to get on the board. He's still on no kills. But they're winning rounds, so it might give him a little bit of breathing space, a little bit of pressure off, and it's going to be another execute on the Tech 9 type of buy from Team Exile5. Just to get the bomb down here is the goal, and it's been achieved.
Yeah, Zorbot as well finding a kill here for XL5, but Liaz finally getting on the board. Mizu will be able to take out Kyoto. It's a 3 versus 3. Make that a 3v2 as Liaz finding one with the grenade, but still XL5 doing a good amount of work in this pistol round. Seth looking to get the frag there onto Chutch, and Zorbot almost able to pick it up, but in the end, only 2 kills going in the way of XL5. Still, not a bad round. They didn't invest much, and they got 2 kills and the bomb down.
Yeah, and it's good. And again, that keeps the pressure up on the CT economy. It's so hard to get that economy going and keep it going. And you can see they buy into this round. They're going to do a couple of drops here, so the money will be okay across the board. But you've only got 1,700 here. The loss that comes through, and you get 1,500, you don't have enough to buy next round on Kyoto in particular. And Sonic wouldn't either. So if XL5 win this one, then it's going to put Athletico in an awkward position. We can probably see a swing around in terms of the leader.
Oh, great shot there coming out from Infrequent, and that's what we want to see. We've been speaking about how powerful of an AWPer he is, and we didn't get to see it at all really yesterday. Seth getting absolutely demolished in that situation there.
Yeah, but then he dropped down into mid, and there was already someone waiting there for him. It was Ferg, and he tagged him down to 15. Not quite able to get the kill, but at the same time, now Infrequent's going to have to play fairly defensively and cautiously for the rest of the round. So,
well, that's a little bit awkward.
A little bit awkward, yeah. No.
Yeah, I was going to speak about Seth with the AWP, but I guess that's irrelevant at the moment. Mizu, yesterday we did see picking up the AWP as kind of a secondary AWPer for XL5, and he did a reasonable job of it. But whether or not he's going to be able to bring this round back in the favor of XL5 is, I guess, the big question of the moment. And at the moment, XL5 really not too keen to do a whole lot. They're just holding default. You can see that player aggressively towards apartment, trying to peek in towards B and perhaps get a pick and bring things back towards XL5's favor. But really, right now, Athletico content to just sit in their bomb sites and wait for the mistake from XL5.
Seems like Athletico have got a pretty good read of the scenario here. So this, obviously, the bomb has been telegraphing to us that they're going towards the B side in the end. So Ferg has made his way up through the connector into this spot. It's a pretty powerful spot. Provided he can kill Chutch, and they're sort of dancing on either side of the...
Oh! Really not great timing there from Chutch to have a grenade out, and Ferg is going to take advantage of that. picking up the frag, brings it back to 4 versus 4. You can see Infrequent already down to 15 HP, needs to be careful with himself, but Kyoto doing a good job on the B-bomb site. He's going to take one. Sonic gets traded out, but Kyoto will be there to find the second player entering that bomb site. Almost over here for XL5. 5 seconds to get the bomb down, and there's no time left at all for them. This round is going to go in the favor of Athletico, and you almost feel like XL5 played themselves out of that round.
Yeah, it's still a little bit too slow there. That first pick, obviously they had a pretty set idea of how they're going to approach the round based on the fact that they brought up that ult for Seth. And when he went down straight away, they looked a little bit lost. It took them a while to re-establish what they felt like areas that they were comfortable on the map. And by the time they did that, and then the resistance that was shown is that through the utilities Athletico means that basically they play themselves out of that round there. So 5-3 now in favour of Athletico. Certainly a lot better than yesterday's performance, and they're looking pretty good, albeit probably against a weaker opponent than they faced yesterday.
That grenade doing a lot of damage there to Pex, down to 42, and Ferg goes down straight away to Kyoto as well. So a good start into this anti-eco here from Athletico Brotherhood. Chuch is going to be able to pick up Seth as well. 3 left on the board here for XL5, and the bomb nowhere near that A-bomb site. But Zorbot charging straight in there, gets the kill onto Chuch. Might be able to find something with this Molotov. Liaz, though, is there to take him out before he can really do a whole lot.
Just 2 left now for XL5. Pex just floating around in this mid-potential. Liaz is going to find him pretty easily there as well. So busy with the Deagle, can't get anything done, and 4 stay alive there for Athletico, which is important for their economy as well. So, and again, we got Sonic just on the 1 kill at the moment, in-game leader. It's all right. And the AWP this time, we'll see whether Seth wants to challenge mid again. To challenge mid again at the start of the round, or whether he's going to choose to go somewhere else. And it looks like, based on all 5 members of XL5 going towards the A-bomb site, that they might want to do this execute that they've done. And it has been working in terms of them being able to get onto the bomb site.
Yep.
But after that, it's that mid-round scenario where Athletico have been a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it certainly seems like XL5 have been favouring that A-bomb site. They've hit that site 6 times. This will be the 7th, and only the B site 3 times. So we'll see if it works out for them. This time, Chuch, interestingly enough, holding in dark. I don't think he's been holding there at all so far for Athletico, so XL5 might be caught unawares by that still. A 1-for-1 trade going out so far. Pex trying to get in towards the sandwich, and he is going to do that successfully. The flashbang's keeping him alive for the moment, spraying through the smoke there. He's going to be able to take down Liaz. Now Chuch still holding by the firebox, hasn't been spotted at all yet, and could become a key player here for Athletico.
Gets the bomb down there as well, and now it's a 2 versus 3 scenario for XL5. Seth trying to get it all done, but Infrequent quickly takes out the Zorbot, so it's just Seth left alive, 3 to get. He knows where 1 is, but he gets flashed out, and it should be an easy kill there for Chuch as well. So the problem with doing a strat and hitting up that A-bomb site, you mentioned they've been there, what, 6, 7 times?
7 times.
7 times now. It's the fact that as soon as you do that, Athletico are rotating quite quickly, and they had the scenario where they had 1 player on B, 2 in mid and 2 on A, and at the start of that round, so they already had a pretty good setup for that. And as soon as that execute came in, they waited for a couple of people to show themselves. They realised, yep, this is a straight A hit. There's no fake. We're going to roll in, and you're really struggling against all those positionings that Athletico can take in the bomb site using the angles and the cover that it's provided. And they really struggle to quite, maintain that momentum after the execute to actually get into the bomb site. So getting shut down a little bit harder than previously.
Yeah, this time XL5 opting to work mid a little bit more. They do have a couple players top mid. Sonic is going to start off well there onto Pex. Infrequent really just going to be giving up the control of mid there. And I think that's probably a wise decision here. XL5 just completely gaining that area of the map. But how are they going to use it here? Are they going to go towards the A side or the B side? The bomb not yet collected by any of these XL5 players. So at the moment, it just seems like they're still trying to find that map control.
One of the things that has been working well for XL5 is they've been able to sneak up and through this mid-connected area as well. And Ferg's been able to do it. Zorbot just walks outside out of A ramp and takes down Infrequent. So that's a pretty big kill. Ferg comes up the connector like he's been doing, gets 1, but the trade comes through as well. So 3 versus 2 numbers this time in XL5's favour. And they're challenging Sonic here. He's coming up from short. Liaz is waiting at the back of the site there as well. He throws down the molly to try and draw out Zorbot. It works and eventually gets the kill. So, but all that information leads to a rotation.
Smartly enough, XL5 opting to head towards the B-bomb site. Liaz, well aware of this, is making his way over there as well. But this is going to be a tough round for him. He's got a Molotov to work with, but he's going to have to go up against 2 of these XL5 members, and he doesn't really have a huge health pool to play with either. the AWP of Seth going to be doing a good amount of work there. And picks up Liaz through the wall. I don't even know if he knew that Liaz was exactly there. I think it might have just been a bit of spam, and works out well for XL5 in the end anyway.
We look at the economy status now. Despite 7-4 being the scoreline, you can see that it's very low on the C2 side as well. And then again, due to Athletico losing quite a few members in each round. So XL5 look like they want to work into this mid area again, but Athletico are here in bulk numbers. They've got 4 in mid. B is completely exposed at this stage, but XL5 probably wouldn't be able to know that just yet. And Athletico now, once they've shown that little presence in mid, they're going to back off and go somewhere else.
Yeah, XL5 already having lost that player. The Mizu have found themselves in a bit of a tough spot. And they're all split up across the map as well. So Zorbot at the moment trying to just peek in towards A. If he gets picked off here, it's pretty much the round in favor of Athletico. There's almost no chance XL5 will be able to come back from that. Chuch has spotted him out, but he's going to get a flashbang into the mid, the A main rather. And, well, Zorbot's gotten out of there okay. So no harm done at the moment for XL5.
Taking this mid presence they have, they're going to try and walk up this connector here. Ferg's done this pretty much every single round, well, at least every gun round. They've been using mid. He's been going. Obviously, the exception's been those hard executes they've done on the A bomb site. And it's worked out pretty well for him. He's going to get the kill here again on infrequent, and no one's watching it there. So an absolute cheapie there for Ferg, and they can roll into the bomb site now. The distraction has led to another kill there going in favor of XL5, and they bring this back now. Numbers in their favor. 4 versus 2, 3 versus 2.
Yeah, Liaz getting a kill there onto Seth, finding one for Zorbot, and this is what we want to see from Liaz. Such a powerful player in these late round situations, especially clutch situations. And if he can find the remaining 2 here, it would be great news for Athletico if he gets himself rolling.
Pretty good post plant scenario there. It's a good crossfire setup they can use here, but Athletico know where both players are as well.
Yeah, the bomb going to be actually stuck here by Sonic. Perhaps not the greatest of decisions, but Ferg will get the trade out, tapping the bomb here. Ferg is going to peek in towards the bomb and try and suss out what's going on here. Liaz has to stick this bomb. He's only got so much time left, and Peck's playing that one to perfection. Not getting taken out by Liaz there, and obviously not allowing him to defuse the bomb either. So another good round going in the favor of XL5. They've got 5 on their T side so far. If they can get a couple more, they'll be feeling pretty comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, it'll do a lot as well in terms of their confidence, which is one of the keys that Sniper mentioned in the pre-game. So the Eco now comes on for Athletico again, and they're sending one across to the B-bomb site, which is Sonic with the CZ75. Otherwise, they're going for a ninja sort of setup underneath the palace stairs there. Seth's already picked up infrequent as well, so this should be a pretty clean sweep, provided XL5 use a little bit of common sense.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of getting a few of these players out of position. You could see Seth utilising the Molotov just to push that player out so that he could get the easy frag. Zorbot will be able to... No, he won't. Okay, that's a little bit interesting there. But Kyoto is going to be able to find himself an AK.
That's why you never use a Galil.
Yeah, well...
It's terrible.
I mean, I don't think that's an excuse in that situation when Kyoto was on 15 HP anyway.
Yeah.
A bad tradesman blames his tools, as they say.
Yes. Well, hopefully he doesn't blame the Galil in that instance, but I feel like it would be fair. So the bomb's gone down, 3 versus 2. If they can save these weapons, that'll be all right. I mean, the Galil, like I said, it's not going to do much for you on the next round, really. You probably won't want to keep it, but it gives you a slight economic advantage.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's worthwhile.
Well, I think the other thing to consider is now XL5 has got themselves 2 guns. And maybe...
You mean Athletico?
Yeah, Athletico rather have 2 guns. It doesn't necessarily impact XL5 in the sense that they might have rebought the AK over the Galil, but, well, there goes the Galil anyway. So irrelevant point there. Sonic going down to XL5. Ferg.
Not much of a loss, the Galil.
As you say. We all know your opinions on the Galil, Mike.
Yeah, I'm making it very clear that it's a rubbish weapon, I reckon. But mind you, it is a cheap weapon, so
yeah,
it serves a purpose. But I think for the price point, you can get better
you could
value
almost
out of the
argue
P90.
that a UMP or something like that might be a better
P90
option. Yeah.
Just go full strafe. Anyway, let's focus back in on this round. We can see the bomb is sitting outside the A ramp. And we've got a couple of mid there as well. And again, Athletico running this strategy of going fairly aggressive with a few up the top of mid. So aggressive, in fact, that Chuch is right at the top. And he picks out one as a trade for Mizu, who took down infrequent. So At the same time, that presence in mid has allowed Seth to roll right back up into the A-bomb site and has good positioning, at least, in this 2 versus 2 scenario.
Yeah, Kyoto is going to get Ferg as he tries to charge up the connector. And now it's all down to Seth in a 1 versus 2. He doesn't have the bomb. Knows exactly where Kyoto is, but I don't think Kyoto quite aware of where Seth is. So he might be able to find that 1v1 duel. And if he can win that, he'll just be up against a single Athletico player. And then from there on, the job becomes much easier. But for now, both teams biding their time.
Seth deciding to make... Oh, he saw the head there. Definitely. Oh, gets the dink on it.
That's really, really unfortunate for Seth there. 1 HP left on Kyoto, but in the end, Sonic probably would have been able to get the trade anyway. So 1 on the board here for Athletico. 8 and 6 now. Looking like a par score if Athletico can close out this round, which in theory they should. Athletico not having the best of buys coming out here, given the economy situation for themselves.
In fact, if Athletico pick up this round, they would have tripled their round count from yesterday.
Well, actually, they got 3, and they'd be on 12 total, wouldn't they? So,
Also 9.
Yeah, I know, but they've got 9. Okay,
Yep.
never mind.
I don't know what you were saying.
Yeah.
Let's focus on this round, and it's a half buy from XL5. It's the Force, of course, being the last round in the half. And they're going to go back again to this A execute, which we've seen on a number of occasions, which has been moderately successful for them. And Infrequent is holding back at the stairs. Goes for the jumping orb shot, I think, in the end there.
I think he might have been sitting on the box, but regardless, he missed it anyway. And, well, not going to be too great of a situation for him there. But still, Athletico very well poised to close this one out. Pex, though, in a good position to find Chutch, and he's actually going to go around the corner. Chutch does take out Ferg before going down. But still, a good situation there for XL5. They take out Chudge, get a gun in the hands of Pex there. Now Infrequent, the one that's going to have to do a lot of work here from the ticket box with the AWP. We know how powerful of a position that can be for the AWP, as Pex in the meanwhile has picked up Liaz. Once again, things starting to fall in the favour of XL5. And if they win another Force here, things are going to be looking good for them heading into the second half.
Mizzy probably didn't need to quite step out there as Athletico attempt the retake. Zorbot with a nice Deagle headshot on Sonic, so that's going to even the numbers off back into a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, Zorbot spraying with the Deagle there. Who's going to be able to find Infrequent? It's a 1 versus 1. Zorbot doesn't really have a good weapon to work with, but he's playing the timing, playing the bomb very well here for XL5. Kyoto is going to try and defuse this. I think Zorbot's going to be able to get this. He does, just in time. Dies to the Molotov, but in the end, the round goes in the favour of XL5, and that's what matters.
In the Flames, and an 8-7 first half there. So that was a really good play there from Zorbot. 3K in that round, which is for the Deagle, and it shows the potency of that weapon as well. So I guess we're going to we're going on lines of projecting forward from this point. 8-7 of the first half. 2-1 with the predictions from both Jim and Ian on the desk. So
yeah.
2-1s. We might see a pretty long best of 3 here to start off the action today.
Yeah, we certainly could. Both these teams seem relatively evenly matched at the moment, but Athletico, typically speaking, a bit of a stronger side, a bit of a stronger T side rather than CT side. So perhaps we'll start to see some fireworks come now that they've swapped over to their favourite side.
And they're going for an A hit as well, just a single lurker Liaz in mid. And XL5 just trying to play this on retake as well. They're not going to contest this one. The bomb will go down for Athletico, which is good for their economic perspective as well, even if they go ahead and lose this round. But XL5 are going to have to, get a wriggle on here and actually get into this site and retake. They've only got the 1 kid on Ferg.
Yeah, Athletico getting some very nice post-plant positions here. It's going to be a tough retake for XL5. They don't really have any utilities to use. They've got, a flashbang and a smoke, but those have both been used. Kyoto is going to find the first kill of the round, but traded out immediately there by Pex. Now XL5 relying on their aim, and it's not quite working out as Athletico find the next 2 frags. Infrequent should have got that one, but in the end, I think it was Liaz. And all said and done, Athletico pick up the round there with relative ease.
Yeah, very easy there as well. And something else to note as well, that Ferg came through on the rotate from A ramp. He dropped the kit, the only kit on the side there.
Yep.
So even if they manage to retake there, someone will have to go and run across, grab the kit, and come back, wasting further time. So Galil has come out yet again. It's reared its head on Kyoto and Chutch, and it's a force buy again for XL5, buying it except for Seth. Now Seth is ecoing, so he can afford to buy that AWP, but the rest of his teammates are going with the pistol armor. I'm not a huge fan of the pistol armor buy on the CT side, because it's so hard to get that going, and it's going to leave them short on utilities come into the actual first gun round. And we can see Kyoto's picked up one there on Seth, but he was the no armor player, so not a big loss there, but the rest of the players here now are in a gun and number disadvantage scenario.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough round from here on out for Exile5. Athletico definitely dictating how this round is playing out for the moment. Ferg going to try and get something done. He gets a nice headshot there onto Kyoto. Does pick up that kill, and another one onto Infrequent. Ferg certainly stepping up, but the rest of the team here for Exile5 capitulating, and Athletico getting that bomb down once again on the A side. It's Pex with the Deagle. We've seen him pull off some pretty crazy stuff, but I think this might be a little bit beyond him, Mike.
Yeah, he should probably save here, but he's going to challenge here, and he's not going to get it done against Sonic there. Chuch is only on the 3 HP, but yeah, that's the problem with the buy on the CT side. If you lose that first member, and then all of a sudden you've got a couple on the site, and they just kind of collapse into you, and it's really hard to trade across. We saw Ferg with 2 very nice headshots there with the 5-7. But if you're going to buy into this second round, you're buying to win the round.
Yep.
And now you're going to be hurting in 2 rounds' time because of that decision to purchase as well. So.
Yes, Exile5 may have started a very slippery slope, which they perhaps may not be able to carry themselves out of. If Athletico get another 2 or 3 easy rounds here, you know, suddenly they're on 12 or 13.
Yep.
And
Pressure's
from there,
mounting.
as you mentioned, the pressure definitely mounting for Exile5, already finding themselves down 10 and 7. Having said that, they are on CT side, which is typically the favoured side on Mirage, so it's not all said and done just yet, but they are going to be ecoing out this round. Pex obviously taking that Deagle and Armor through, but the rest of the players for Exile5 opting not to invest a whole lot in this one, and Athletico should be a sure bet to pick up this round.
One of the advantages of that previous round of the buy coming through as well, you can see Kyoto and Frequent both running with the Mac 10s. Some sort of crazy sounds these days that haven't quite gotten adjusted to yet.
The automatic stapler, I think, is what PDG was referring to it as yesterday. It certainly does sound similar to what you would expect that to sound like. Regardless, it does look like Athletico now making their way towards that A-bomb site. They have the lurk all the way around through the CT area, and that's not too good at all for Exile5. And Freaking is going to pick up Zorbot. Mizu will trade him out from Dark, but immediately taken down by Sonic in response. So only one player left alive. Once again, Pex finding himself in a less than ideal situation. Going to be chased down by Kyoto, actually able to pick up that kill. Not able to get Sonic there, who will trade him out. And it's 11 there on the board now for Athletico. And the buy coming in for Exile5.
As I mentioned in that first round where the rest of his teammates bought, Seth didn't, and that's why he can afford the AWP in this round. And you can see the utilities are pretty good overall, but you're lacking the Molotovs in particular. They're particularly hard, pretty hard to buy on that first gun round, but just the one flash on a few players there just makes it a little bit harder to delay and arrest the momentum of a team that's moving onto a bomb site you're trying to hold.
Yeah, so Athletico this time opting to head towards the B-bomb site. Does look like they're setting up for an execute. At least Sonic setting himself up for a smoke. The rest of the players hanging on for the moment. And this is going to spell trouble here for Exile5. They've only got a couple of players over to that B-bomb site. If one of them gets picked off, things are going to get a little bit tough. And they do need to win this round if they want to start getting themselves back into the second half here. Ferg spraying through the smoke, trying to get a bit of damage across to Athletico, but really not achieving a whole lot. And he's going to be taken down straight away by Infrequent. Now all down to Mizu here, trying to get some damage, but again, not getting a whole lot done. Pex has found himself over to the bench, gets a 1-for-1 trade. Not going to be enough in that situation. Athletico will take that, and Liaz trying to spot out Mizu there. But Seth with a great shot there onto Liaz. Zorbot coming in on Infrequent, and all of a sudden, things have turned straight back in the favor of Exile5. Kyoto is going to get a Molotov down onto the bomb. That'll help, but it's not going to be enough, and actually didn't quite land it properly either. So the round going in the favor of Exile5, where, to be honest, it looked like Athletico should be able to close that one out. Yeah,
and it should. And there was a couple of peaks there that just weren't needed. Just straight out weren't. So, and that's a little bit of inexperience they're showing. And again, we talk about a lot about pressure and what pressure can do to a player. And again, that's just them. They're not quite 100% settled as you would see them online, and they're just sort of peaking where they probably shouldn't be. So I would agree with you. I think that probably should have gone in the favour of Athletico in a post-plant situation. It wasn't to be, and Exile5 notched themselves their first CT round. And again, Seth is still gets to keep the AWP. So 5 AKs this time. No AWP yet seen for Infrequent on the T half.
Molotov's raining into the window there. Going to just be forced back a little bit, but Zorbot in a nice spot here. Should be able to pick up Chuch, and he does. Mizu in the meanwhile has actually found himself a double kill. Kyoto and Sonic going down And things looking okay here for XL5 on this round. The remaining Athletico players hanging around in A main here, but really what they hope to get done is a bit of a question mark because they're going to be running straight into a stack here from XL5.
Infrequent knows where Zorbot is, or at least has a very strong suspicion.
Zorbot just hanging tight here, waiting for the backup from his teammates, and that's exactly what he should be doing here. Infrequent will actually be able to pick up Ferg, but Zorbot still alive and able to play a part in this round. Mizu is going to be able to take down Liaz, the final player left alive here for Atletico. So XL5 doubling up 2 in a row and starting to close that gap once again.
And despite that, this is the difference between the CT side and the T side on economy, is you've still got really good money on Chuch and really good money on Liaz. They both had 5k or over 5,000 at the start of the round. So they can buy armor and drop a couple of pistols, and that allows them to do a little bit more in each round, or just slightly increase the percentage of the winning that they might be able to do in the round. But 11-9, and XL5 should have the drop for this one. You see Mizu is trying to farm some cash here.
Atletico just going to waterfall straight onto the site out of Palace. Infrequent finding one, but it's not going to be enough as XL5 responding back with a couple more of their own. Sonic will chime in, but again, XL5 well and truly going to be taking this round away, only losing a couple of players, and not too big of a deal for them. They're going to be able to secure a couple of those weapons still, and they have plenty of money to rebuy the remaining 2. XL5 looking good on their CT side.
Yeah, well, bringing back the ledger at 11-10 at this stage. So how many rounds is that? It's 3 in a row now for XL5, is it?
Yep. And only a few here for Atletico. So 3-3 at the moment in terms of the CT side.
Here we see the battle in mid. It's Mizu though, not rather than Seth in mid. So Infrequent's going to try and get something done here, top of mid, with his AWP. The first time we've seen him use that weapon on the T side at least. Had a little bit of success on the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, there was one round in particular where he went a little bit crazy, but other than that, it's just been sort of run-of-the-mill AWP shots, nothing too crazy, which we generally expect, actually, from Infrequent. But that is going to be a good grenade coming out onto Sonic, down to 59 HP. And
you say a good grenade,
well, yeah.
Landed right next to it. It's
as good
41.
as a grenade in Counter-Strike can go.
Yeah, well, in CSGO at least. So mid control has been taken here, and Infrequent has got the pick on Seth. He was sitting on top of the ticket box at a CT side. So that's a really good pick for them, and that's what they want. And now they have a little bit of luxury here as well, because you can see a player has actually rotated off the B site now. So there's just a solo player on the B, 1 in mid and 2 on the A site. Mizu has regained that AWP, and that's what mid control allows you to do. Gives that doubt into the CT's mind as which side are they going to go to, because the rotation can be so quick from that mid area. So smokes come out on the A bomb site, released a single smoke, and it's Chuch who's going to be faking it out, and they're actually going to be doing a B hit through mid and through the B palace.
Certainly seems like the fake has worked in the sense that they drew 3 players from XL5 over to the A bomb site, but on the other hand, XL5 actually picked up that kill relatively early and get the quick rotate. They found a kill on the B bomb site as well, so all of a sudden Atletico's job just gets a little bit harder. XL5 getting quickly over to the B bomb site, and the retake will be begun, I guess, once we see Zorbot rotating all the way around to short. Hopefully doesn't get picked off by Infrequent, but in the end he does. And now XL5 have a bit of a job to do. Mizu and Ferg here going to have to come up with some very nice quick shooting. XL5 getting that 1 frag courtesy of Ferg, but Kyoto able to trade it back straight away. And, well, Mizu with the AWP here, really not much of a chance in this one.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, always going to be tough to go up against that crossfire situation, regardless of the gun that you have, but even the AWP makes things even more difficult. So almost an unwinnable situation there for XL5. Atletico striking back 4 on their T side so far.
Pretty critical round there as well, because I mean, if XL5 won that one, they're going to start to build their economy up, but you can see they've been forced back on the eco straight away here. So in terms of where we are in a scoreline, 12-10, this round should definitely go in favour of Athletico. And we're going to start to see a little bit of a build towards getting that 16 rounds for them. There's still another probably 1 or 2 really critical rounds to come in terms of gun rounds, but that was a pretty big one for Athletico, and they should take a lot of confidence out of it. Yeah,
well, for sure, they should be getting a 13th round on the board here. And, you know, I always feel like when you get to that 13th round, that's when things start to get a real pressure situation for your opposition.
Well, and also as well, given the fact that Athletico came into this tournament as pretty much a fairly strong favourite across the board, there's a lot of pressure involved in that. And it's one thing to be able to be a young team to come in with no expectations and just be able to play as best you can. And if you happen to get wins on board, that's great, and you can use that momentum. But when you have that favourite tag, there's a lot of pressure that comes, personal pressure that comes alongside that.
Yeah, there certainly is. And now making their way onto the A bomb site is Athletico. Once again, they've got that sole player in the middle area, just waiting to see if they can catch off any rotators. But Kyoto, the man to speak of at the moment, is going to get the entry frag onto Zorbot. Mizu will actually trade back onto Chach. Whoa, nice shot coming out from him onto Kyoto as well. Liaz, though, is there to pick him up. Seth finding one for himself as well. So Athletico, only a couple of players remaining. Ferg is going to be able to pick up Liaz. And XL5 have already picked up 2 force buys. Could they win the eco round here as well? That would not be a good result at all here for Athletico.
Great trade in the end there as well. So, yeah, really good play for XL5 there. Getting a read of the scenario and then pretty quickly coming the rotation coming in quickly and being able to basically pincer in once Athletico had moved out from the A ramp and excluding that player in the mid into that bomb site, into that open area. Just got shot down. So, great play there from XL5 and that's a really big win again in terms of context of the map. That's bring them right back into it.
Yeah, a really good round to win there for XL5. They forced the pressure back onto Athletico here, who are now forced to really just buy up the pistols and armor. And not the ideal buy, but certainly a serviceable one. They're going to try and execute out onto this B bomb site, which is currently held by a couple of XL5 players.
Which didn't work out too well for them last time they tried it. But you tend to attack a site a little bit differently when you have pistols rather than rifles because of the mobility that they provide you. So let's see if they can get something done.
Yeah, Ferg just getting caught out here, but I think the smoke is actually going to save his life. And Pex finding a double kill on the entry there. Infrequent and Chach going down. The remaining Athletico players still stuck up in apartment. Pex finding his 3rd for the round. That Sonic going down is going to be finally traded out there by Kyoto, who actually is able to actually get another one. No, rather that was Liaz who picked that up. But in the end, still XL5 very favoured in this round. 1 versus 3 here. Liaz, the remaining player, and well, it'd be great to see Liaz be able to clutch this one out. We've seen him pick up plenty of clutches, but again, I think this LAN event here is a bit of a different beast and hasn't really been showing up as much as he has on loan.
And there it is, Zorbot sitting at the top of mid, waiting for that rotation, picking a nice angle that you probably wouldn't check, and in fact, Liaz didn't. So again, the pistol armor buy, it's leaving them a little bit short on cash. So will the fiscal decisions made by Athletico come back to bite them in this map as XL5 tie up the scoreline at 12 apiece and have a free eco round this time?
Well, you say free, but we said the same thing about Athletico's anti-eco, and all of a sudden XL5 find themselves on 12-12. So stranger things can happen in this game that is Counter-Strike. It looks like it's going to be an A take here for Athletico. The objective probably just to get that bomb down. Only a single smoke really invested into this round aside from that one flashbang. But Seth doing a great job there, finding 2 with the Molotov in fact, and finding finally a 3rd there for himself with Bjork. 4 kills in the round for Seth.
Appropriately mocked.
Yeah.
That first kill there where the eco side goes, oh, we've got a sniff here, we can get into this.
Yeah.
And then
bam.
Bam, done. Sorted. So 13-12 XL5 taking the lead for the first time in quite some time.
Yeah.
In fact. Full economy, and I think their money is looking pretty good as well. We bring the scoreboard up to have a look of who's doing damage as well. We'll see, actually, we'll focus in on the action rather. Frequent has that AWP, and a lot is probably riding on this decision here in terms of the scoreline, because they brought up the big green gun in this instance to try and get themselves a pick here. It's a heavy investment even on the T side with the bonus game for them, and Kyoto is going to find Pex.
Yeah, Pex.
Execution style.
Well, yeah, he had no idea what was going on there, just had no idea.
Well, he was hoping he wouldn't check the angle.
Oh, please.
No, as in, like, he was hoping that whoever got the kill, was it, sorry? Kyoto, he was going to be looking at the angle for the window rather than that side. So I can understand what was going on there, but it's pretty much a gamble play.
It was a very big risk regardless of the situation there, but in the end it did go in the favour of Athletico, who consequently have found themselves a 1-for-1 trade since then and are now back to a 4 versus 3. As I say that though, Ferg is able to pick up Sonic and brings it back to a 3v3. In danger of being traded out there, and Frequent is going to be able to pick that one up, and now peeking in towards that A-bomb side. If he continues around the corner, might be able to spot another one out, but no, it is going to be Kyoto leading the charge. Chach is able to find one onto Zorbot. Seth trades back, but a very important round there going in favour of Athletico. They do cling back to the 13-13 scoreline and secure themselves at least another round in the bank.
Very important round indeed. And well, the economic investment was worth it as well. Although it's pretty ballsy play there from Infrequent to go with a Glock to try and trade out Ferg. But he should have known that he was fairly low already. He only had 16 HP at the time. So we'll see what Athletico want to do now. Sonic's rolling with the UMP. The reason why Sonic's got it, he's the in-game leader. So typically you let your fraggers have the fragging power at least. We'll just sort of see what Athletico want to do. They want to slow it again, slow it down a little bit. We've seen them do a couple of basically no information executes thus far, and they've sort of worked, but it's been about, I guess, probably a 50-50 success rate. And Mizu and Zorbot just playing a little bit of Chuch fire there. He's got some backup there. Grenade comes in, but overall, it's a game of chicken right now, and neither team is moving.
Yeah, Athletico have got themselves control of that mid area though, so they do have a few options available to them. 3 players remaining on the A bomb site here for XL5. Should be a relatively strong hold, but we'll see what happens as it looks like Athletico is starting to make their way towards the site. Liaz and Mizu finding one apiece, a 1-for-1 trade here. Now make that 2-for-2 as a couple more players go down. Chuch will find one onto Zorbot, brings the favor towards Athletico. But Mizu is able to trade that one out. And well, really, it's I guess the story of the trades in this round. Just been going one apiece backwards and forwards between the two teams, and
It's
eventually
not even the off-season yet.
Yeah.
There's already trades going on.
No, eventually we find ourselves in a 1-for-1 situation. Seth up against Sonic. Seth with the AWP trying to retake this site. Probably has a reasonable idea of where Sonic is and actually gets the wall bang down to 29 HP, but remaining here safely in the connector area is Seth.
I love the X-ray. He gets so close so many times, won't take the shot just yet.
Yeah,
Sonic steps out and gets it done there, so big clutch here from Sonic. Lifting his team up from the captain, in-game leader perspective as well, so. And that gives them the advantage not only in terms of scoreboard, but look at the economy on XL5. They are in a recession.
Interestingly enough, Athletico, you know, Sonic hasn't actually been fragging that well, as you would expect. Only on the 12 frags there. Kyoto, on the other hand, on 30. But Sonic really stepping up when it matters, getting that important frag, and, you know, certainly that contribution can't be undersold. Yeah,
you can't always look at stats blindly and see, oh, hey, Kyoto got 30. I'm not trying to downplay his impact on this game, but that frag there's worth 4 or 5 easily, you know, over a couple of rounds type deal as an equivalent. So XL5 here. They've set up, again, this is pretty similar eco setup. One's gone aggressive. You can see Ferg here. Can he pick up Sonic? He gets the timing right. Doesn't get the kill. 4 HP. Sonic breathing a sigh of relief there. Probably. Anyways, as I was saying, it's a fairly similar setup here. So XL5, we're just going to try and come up with some sort of little crossfire bait play here with the 3 of them up on the A-bomb site. And we'll see whether Athletico want to move that way as well. Interestingly enough, though, Seth has pushed up. He went all the way to the top of the mid, then came back. He's going to try and find Sonic here. And he does with a CZ75, so that's a pretty handy weapon there. At the same time, Athletico moving their way onto the A-bomb site, finding plenty of kills as well. All 3 of those players going down now. This is where Athletico should go on the hunt. And they are doing that.
Yeah, they certainly want to try and get this AK out of the hands of Seth. That will really help the buy here for XL5 in the following round, which is going to be a really important one for XL5 if they hope to even continue their run in this map. But it is Athletico going 15-13 up and getting the gun out of the hands of Seth there. So things are looking grim here for XL5. They will be able to buy into this one, but it's not going to be a perfect buy.
No, it is not. They will be severely lacking on utilities. We can see, well, we've got smokes on everybody, but there's a couple of decoys, and when you're buying decoys, you know your cash isn't great. So 5 AKs on Athletico this time, and they've got a reasonable amount of reserve if they lose this round to be able to try and push it into a 16-14 scoreline. But obviously for this first map, this is where XL5 have to step up and play. And you can see a little bit more of a mid focus has been taken at the start of this round, and that's where Athletico have been able to work through into these bomb sites pretty well when they aren't going for that straight execute strategy we've seen a few times. They've been able to take that mid control and use it. So a change of focus here from XL5 on the CT side.
It certainly is. Athletico, though, on the other hand, for the moment, just playing default, not really pushing into any of these bomb sites.
And this really slowed, like nothing happened. As a CT, you can make you think twice about what's going on in your setup.
Yeah.
And as a cause of that, the player, I believe it was Ferg, who was sitting in mid backing up Mizu, has now gone back towards the B-bomb side. So now they're a little bit worried about that straight execution coming in where you get that 5 versus 3 or 5 versus 1 type scenario if there's only that one player on a particular side. Yeah,
this is not a fun situation at all for Exile5. They've got no information at all and have absolutely no idea what Athletico is doing at the moment. Just going to have to wait and see. And as, of course, we know, this is looking like it's going to be an execute on towards that A-bomb site, which has worked out a few times for Athletico. You can see the smokes raining in towards the site. The Molotovs as well coming into lower dark. Seth is going to start off well there, though, for Exile5. Getting out infrequent. The trades coming across. It is looking like Athletico getting the better of it, though, as Lias and Church finding one apiece. 15 rounds here for Athletico. If they pick this one up, they will win the map. And Ferg, he's been playing well for this map and actually yesterday as well, but in a 1 versus 3 situation to save his team the map, it's going to be incredibly tough. Does start off well, though. Kyoto going down.
He's got a lot of time to chew up here, and the bait is being played here as well. So I can't see this one going in Ferg's favour, just not at this point.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough one coming out there for Ferg, but that is Athletico picking up their first map win of the tournament, 16-13 over Exile5 with a reasonable performance, but I think they're probably going to have to lift a little bit if they hope to back that up again on train.
Pick as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to Atletico's pick. So perhaps Ian and Jim are going to be a little bit off with a 2-1. Maybe it's going to end up being a 2-zip. We'll see. But one of the keys there, particularly that Sniper said, was a good start, and that's the best start you can give getting that first map on board for you. But particularly early on, we saw some frags, some good plays coming out early on from the Atletico guys. So it shows that they're certainly in a lot better mindset than they were yesterday.
Particularly good signs there coming out for Kyoto, who dropped a 30 bomb. I'm not sure exactly what he ended up on, but it was a good performance from him nonetheless. And really, I think one of the key things for Atletico yesterday was that some of their shots that they probably should have been hitting were not really landing. And today, certainly things looking a lot better for them.
Yeah, certainly a lot of players getting on the board, fragging a lot better for them. And that was really, I mean, you could dissect what happened yesterday for Atletico, and you could go look into the strategy that was playing in the CT and a lack of variation as well. But that doesn't even come into play slightly if you're hitting no shots. You've got to hit at least get the easy ones. Otherwise, you're just going to get stomped and only pick up 3 rounds over 2 maps. But today is a brand new day, and Atletico are almost looking like a brand new side.
They certainly are, but I guess we'll have to see how they continue to play after this quick break. We'll be back with the analyst desk, so stay tuned.
Our Season 1 finals. Once again, I'm on the analyst desk here with Sniper and Jim there. So, boys, we just saw Atletico turn up, I think. I think they're finally here. We thought they were supposed to be here yesterday. Maybe they're just a day late.
Confirmation of their arrival.
Yeah. It's good. They're good. They've checked in.
Yeah,
they've done it.
Well, at least one of the players has definitely rocked up.
We have some tangible evidence that they're actually here now, so let's just see how they roll on.
Yeah, that was interesting. Obviously, that was X5's pick in Mirage when we were talking about. We thought maybe it might be a 2-1-2 Atletico. In that scenario, X5 picks up Mirage, right?
Well, I mean, that was never a given, I don't think. I think we both knew that Atletico definitely are a good Mirage team. At the same time, we knew that XL5 heavily favoured their executes. And it was going to come down to, if Atletico did turn up today, they could definitely take Mirage off XL5. And then at the same time, we saw a great XL5 on train yesterday, so we thought that would maybe like a mistake in the pick for Atletico. Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see about that.
Well, that's a good point. That was something else that I was going to bring up, is that yesterday when XL5 really played their best was on train against Chiefs. Now, we're going to see them on train here. That was, they started slow, XL5, but by the end of that game, they were sort of getting into the swing of things. And whilst yesterday, they only sort of really started playing halfway through train. So is this a different scenario? Is there potential here for these guys to come through? They're ready now. Could train go to X5?
Yeah, I think Ian touched on it perfectly at the end there in the post-game discussion that we had, that XL5 started to get their tails up a little bit. So they worked themselves well into that match, but Atletico were punishing them for the mistakes that they were making, and there were key errors in their CT side setups. T side was a little bit different. There were a few rounds there where they sort of just hesitated in the right moments, and a few of the reads that they had weren't the proper thing to do in that moment.
Yeah, okay. Do we want to go through some of the things that XL5 might have done in that game that perhaps weren't the best? What was some consistent errors that they were making?
Well, definitely for me, the letdown for Exile5 was on their T side. They just, there was a period there where Athletico strung a heap of rounds together, just forcing their mid control, and there was nothing that Exile5 really had to counter it. When Exile5 was doing their mid control counter, they weren't really executing it with the purpose of stopping any mid control. It was like, oh, let's just try and take middle through a smoke grenade and through force or whatnot. And that's when actually Athletico had 4 players coming down the middle, and the first player for Exile5 was running up catwalk and not checking the middle. And so they just got decimated, basically. And then later on, we did see kind of an adaptation where Exile5 were taking advantage of that. When they knew that there was a mid-control and Mizu would get picked, then we saw Seth walk into the A site and get an awesome position in the A site, but then he just floundered and didn't do anything with it. So that was just one of the few mistakes, or 2 of the mistakes that maybe Exile5 need to work on again if they play Mirage. And then also, there was a crucial round late in the second half where you saw Exile5 pick up an eco win.
They did.
That was a huge momentum swing that could have happened. They did win 2 rounds after that, but in that round, it was a 3 versus 1, and 2 of the CTs gave away their lives, and it came down to a 1v1. Sonic got 2 kills, but then died. That could have been 3 AKs for Exile5, and they could have carried those guns through to the end of the half. And they got punished at the end of the half because their economy was in tatters.
When you lose out something like 16-13 and you can look back at 1 or 2, yeah, especially if they're easy fixes like they seem to be. Jim, the Atletico that we're seeing here, obviously they're playing better than yesterday. Where are they relative to what we've seen them do online?
I still don't think they're there yet. Sorry, I think they're making a few key errors, and the difference here is that Exile5 aren't punishing them for those errors either. I know it's a consistent theme that we've talked about between these 2 teams, but it's clear to me that these guys still aren't anywhere near the level that they play online. And if they were, I dare say they'd be playing in that winners bracket final.
Yeah, they're not forcing, like Athletico have won that map. They didn't really force any mistakes out of Exile5, but they weren't punished for any of the mistakes that they were making, and Exile5 were just, I said to Jim, Exile5 are just walking into the A site time and time again. Athletico have got their back to them. What is that? Is that bad communication? Is that a bad setup? Have they forgotten that they don't have anyone in middle now? And the thing is, we can see that with X-Ray. Exile5 only once or twice actually realised that, we can just walk into the A site, and by then it was too late. They'd lost a string of rounds, and they ended up coming back, and they did adapt late in that first half and take it out towards the end. But it was a glaring hole in the Atletico defence that we noticed straight away, and I think Exile5 should have noticed that as soon as they did it once or twice.
Jim, who's going to win this map?
Well, I think I touted in the pre-game predictions that I feel as though either team were going to win each other's picks. So I feel as though Exile5 are going to get their tails up, particularly given their decent performance against Chiefs on this map yesterday. So I feel as though each team is going to win one another's pick and then go on to that third. So I'm tipping Exile5 in this one, simply because of the map. Again, it's another execute heavy map, and if you've got those executes right and work well after that, then you're going to go on and win that round. Exile5 had the execution, but it seems as though there was that hesitation, or that moment of hesitation. Atletico were doing enough at that point to disrupt the plan, but from there, that Exile5 weren't decisive enough. If they can get that right, they'll take this map.
Sniper, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I think that Exile5, they just didn't get off on the right foot with their T side. They had the nice execute, and time after time, Bomb was getting killed through the smoke, or Bomb was not getting planted at all, and so that really pushed them back quite a lot. I think on a map like Train, the Bomb being planted in smokes and so on shouldn't be much of an issue, because you're really trying to get those aim duels. That's what the execute is for. And like Jim said, they got their tail up towards the end of that half. They won that eco round. Now I see a 5-man team on Exile5 all getting frags together, and on Athletico, I don't really see that. I mean, yeah, sure, Sonic clutched out that round, but apart from that, it looks like it's a one-man show, Kyoto just rolling through. You're going to need to see, on a map like Train, a huge map, you're going to need to see a bit more individual play out of Athletico.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is game number 2 in the best of 3 between Exile5 and Atletico. It's our first lower bracket game. Exile5 needs to win this map to stay in the competition. If Atletico pick it up, they progress through to the lower bracket final. Let's get into the action. Elfish Guy and Mike Star, over to you.
Thanks, Ben. And yes, it is going to be a cracker of a matchup here on Train. We know that it's a good map for Athletico. Haven't seen XL5 on it too much, but they certainly displayed a reasonable performance yesterday against the Chiefs. So interesting times coming out here on Train.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this one come in. And it's such a different beast Train than what we see in Mirage. And if XL5 do get up, what we're going to see on Dust 2 as well. It's quite a, Jim mentioned that it was execute heavy as well. But in terms of being able to rotate and getting map control, it's quite a different beast.
Yeah, it should be a very, I guess, backwards and forwards matchup between these two teams. I don't know how to call it, actually. I'm kind of undecided on who I feel is going to be able to take this one away. But regardless, we're going to be getting into it very shortly. Athletico probably have the better run of late on Train. But again, it's going to be really hard to call.
Yeah, one of the personnel battles that I can see match up again. We saw it once or twice, Seth versus Infrequent with the York. But on Train, there's quite a lot of long angles, and that's where the AWP can come into prevalence a lot more. So potentially, so far, I would say out of the duels, that Infrequent's probably had more impact with the Orb.
Yep.
So if he can continue that form and really and build on it a little bit more and start getting up to the heights that we've seen from him online and bring it to this LAN arena, then it could spell trouble for XL5 in that aspect.
Does look like Athletico are going to be starting off on the T side here, and I think that's actually probably good for them, despite the fact that Train, generally speaking, is a little bit more CT side. I think Athletico are going to try and want to get in here and really stamp their foot on the top of XL5. Seth, though, is going to start off well there onto Sonic, taking control, or at least for that partial moment of the Brown Halls, but opting to fall back in towards the side. XL5, as a result, actually opting to go towards that A-bomb side, and now Infrequent getting some good control up towards the green train. Ferg hanging around the bomb train, has spotted out another player coming out of Pop Dog, but Infrequent is going to be the man of the moment, taking down Zorbot. He's going to try and take the duel there against Ferg, but not quite going to be able to get it just yet. They are starting to get in towards the bomb train. The bomb going to be planted here, should be okay to go down, but still XL5 winning in terms of the player advantage. Infrequent, the remaining player, Seth, with a massive round here in the Pistols, picking himself up 3 kills.
Very nice play there from Seth. And smart play at the start of the round once he got that pick on Sonic, which was obviously the idea behind that whole play from Athletico was a little bit of a decoy to fake to to the inside side before coming out onto the A side. But Seth got that kill, fell back, and then made the full rotation right around back through the Vines area, and then picking up the last 2 coming through. So good communication there from XL5, and we spoke about, the desk spoke about rather, confidence and turning that experience into performance. And XL5 are really getting their tails up here as well. And Athletico choosing to eco this round, so we'll see the force buy next round from them.
We certainly will. It does look like Athletico keen to head towards the A-bomb site once again. Pretty standard take here, at least an attempt at it, because really going to be a little bit tough going up against all those SMGs with only the pistols. And as expected, complete, utter domination coming out from XL5. They're taking out 5, losing no players, and just a good standard round coming out from XL5. Nothing really to say.
Yep, Seth is able to pick up the AWP straight away. He's dropped his weapon across to somebody else, perhaps? No, he's just tossed it away because he's expecting the buy, and the buy is 5 AKs from Athletico. And typically in this sort of scenario, it's weird that you're down 2 rounds, but you actually have probably a more preferred weapon setup, albeit a little bit lower on utility.
Athletico once again looking like they're heading towards the A-bomb site. This time, though, heading a couple of players round through Ivy, and they've left the bomb in towards T-spawn. Mizu, though, will start off onto Infrequent, but at the moment, Athletico, they've changed their setup just a little bit now that they've got the weapons.
Just poking still. Now they're in this scenario where they're 2 players down, and they've bought into this round, so there's a lot invested into it, because if they lose this, probably going to be back onto the eco for the next one. To be able to fully buy going into the 5th round. Seth still hasn't actually shown the fact that he has the AWP at all yet. Sonic just trying to get a little bit done here. Any damage that they can do, any weapon that they can sort of pull off the XL5 team will just sort of help them in the long term, just a little bit.
Well, they're not doing a very good job of it at the moment, are they? As Ferg is going to be able to take down Kyoto, one of the top players for Athletico in the previous map.
Ferg's in T-spawn here. Yep, you heard it right.
It's completely
shoots Liaz in the back. And
Liaz had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, but now Sonic knows where he is. Can he get the kill? No, he can't. So Ferg finishing off there. 5 alive again. That's really important on this CT side to build that economy up. And you can see already that Zorbot was 7k. And as I said, this will be another eco for Athletico, unable to find anything in that second round. And that's the peril of going into that third round bye, just off the single eco.
Yeah.
Is that you're a little bit short on economy. If you can't get that, basically, I feel that if you get that first pick, it works. But if you don't get that first pick, you're well up against it after that point, because you don't have the utilities to counter what the CTs are doing. And you're just really relying on a little bit of momentum. And momentum is what they have as they bust into the site. They've already picked down up perks, so they should be able to get a bomb plan of that. This is much better from Athletico already.
Yeah, really good change up from Athletico, going quickly and going towards the B bomb site. So catching Exile5 off guard. They've got 2 picks already, courtesy of Chuch. Mizu will be able to bring 1 back, but that's not going to be enough for Exile5. They need a couple more. Zorbot chiming in there onto Infrequent. Mizu again getting his second, and well, it looks all safe and sound now for Exile5, but for a moment there, it did certainly seem like Athletico might be able to pull something out of the hat.
All they've got to do is defuse the bomb. Pretty easy. Zorbot gets the kill there, watching the lower ramp, and Seth will get the defuse as well. So, what was it? Two frags in the end, plus a bomb plant. That's certainly given the investment that Athletico had in that round, which was nothing. That's a great outcome for them.
Yeah, it certainly was, and they're going to be able to buy up into this round. Now we're going to be seeing Infrequent on the AWP, and this is one of the matchups that we identified as being somewhat crucial between these two teams. Seth versus Infrequent with the AWP, who can be more effective, especially considering Trainers somewhat of an AWP-centric map. And now we'll be, I guess, getting a bit of an indication as to how that is going to go throughout the rest of the matchup.
Looking through to the stop sign is Infrequent here. Gets flashed out as well. Some defensive utilities coming up straight away. And it's good to see that where Seth is now. He held that AWP on the last occasions on the inside bomb site. But straight away, there's a little bit of variation here from Exile5, which is good to see. And doesn't quite get the shot on Kyoto there. So goes for the repeat as well. And really, this is a case of buying down the time here. If you're XL5 and Athletico, hoping to prey on a mistake that's made by XL5. But so far, nothing is coming to fruition for them, and it's probably looked like they're going to go back towards an A execute. And the player at the end there, Ferg, he's actually sitting quite far forward, and he's sort of in no man's land there, so wisely he has bailed back out of there. So we can see Sonic now dropping off, leaving that inside site alone entirely. And he's going to try and work his way out with his fellow teammates onto the A bomb site.
Just playing down the timer a little bit, the guys from Athletico. They haven't opted to execute onto the A site just yet, but there's only 35 seconds left here. So they're going to need to move a little bit quicker than what they are at the moment. The Molotov's starting to rain in down towards the back train there, the green train. And it's Kyoto and Seth finding one apiece. But again, it's looking like XL5 just have this on complete lockdown. Chuch able to find one. But is that going to be enough? Liaz will be able to help his buddy out there, finding himself one as well. And things starting to swing back in the favor of Athletico as they get the bomb down. The smoke's going to go down on towards the bomb train here from Chuch, so he can get himself a little bit of extra room to maneuver. He's going to pop up above it, but Seth with a great shot there onto Chuch. And suddenly 2 versus 1 here in the favor of Exile5. Seth trying to find where Liaz is, but Exile5 have no idea where Liaz is.
They need to make a move pretty much quickly here, otherwise Liaz is going to be able to waste the time down. I think they have a suspicion they roughly know where he is. They know where he is now. It's the leg shot from Seth and finished off by Pex. So good little communication and a good retake in the end there from XL5, picking up their 5th round in a row. And Athletico, I think it was Ian was saying on the desk that XL5 were a little bit slow to adapt. So now we've got to see whether Athletico are I'll get my words out eventually here, Jordan, are able to adapt to what XL5 are doing on the CT side here.
Yeah, so, well, Athletico at the moment 5-0 down, so they're having a little bit of difficulty here on Train. You know, we saw XL5 yesterday playing quite well on Train actually against the Chiefs, and it almost... I mean, I guess yesterday Pete and I were discussing how it did seem like Chiefs were always going to be able to come back in that map, but there was a moment where it was something like 13-10 in the favor of XL5 or 13-12, where if XL5 had have won that round, they would have stormed away with that map on Train. So they were very close to actually taking Chiefs to 3 maps, and at the moment it does certainly seem like they, at least on this map, are the ones that are more comfortable.
Yeah, it seems like they're a little more disciplined as well so far in these first 5 rounds, and it's easy to be disciplined when you've got a few rounds on the board and things are going in your favour. You know exactly what it is the right thing to do is you just sit and hold that particular line or sit and hold that particular area, but they're not getting picked off as easily as they were on Mirage. So that's good because, and again, going back onto that pressure that you have within that game, is that when you're slightly down and things aren't going your way, you feel like individually that you need to step up and try and make something happen. Whereas on the CT side, really, you can wait and you can sit back and let that play come to you and worry that, work that clock down just by using your utilities so that the pressure starts to mount on your opposition as the terrorists.
Yeah, so what are we thinking maybe a pass score here for Athletico is? Maybe 5 rounds. If they can get to that on their T side, they're probably feeling pretty comfortable heading into the second half.
Yeah, I think 5 is probably a little bit under. I think a 9-6 scoreline from here would be ideal. 5 rounds would be, it'd be good, but they need to pick up the round pretty quickly here. Otherwise, it's going to start to slip away from them, and that confidence level in XL5 is going to go up and up and up, and we could see that sort of full tilt happening from Athletico, and we could see a regression back to yesterday's performance, perhaps.
Yeah, so still a bit of work coming out here for Athletico, and as you mentioned, the yesterday's performance, if they kind of fall back to that level, they're just going to be absolutely swamped out of this competition. And I think that's something that, coming into this one, there was a lot of expectations on Athletico, and even if they do not quite perform to those expectations, they definitely don't want to be going out 2-0. They want to be
two losses
in a row.
Yeah,
they want to at least come here and prove that they can do something on land, because that was, I guess, the real big question mark around this lineup.
Yeah, and that's really, this is their first really big LAN, and it does take a while to adjust to coming into that, and particularly if you're coming into the big LAN as a favourite, and you really, this is coming into a favourite in your first big LAN. It's tough because there's that expectation, that's the pressure. You've been able to do it online and it's to a very high level, and a really good degree of consistency over the last month in particular as well. So and this is one of the things that Jim brought up before this matchup started, is that online to LAN transition. Even if it goes to the 2-zip and they go out, they lose obviously in brutal fashion to Parallax yesterday, and then they lose despite getting the first map up. There's obviously some mental issues there as well in terms of pressure, but they do gain some experience from that. And no one's typically, you don't rock up to nationals and win your first LAN as a team. It's pretty uncommon, and most of the players who win nationals have been around for probably a good year and a half at that top level before they can really break in. The exception if you're a star upcoming player and you get transitioned into a team. I'm thinking like Tux moving into Chiefs last year and rocking up to his first national and winning a LAN type deal. So. Group of young players coming in, it's pretty tough, particularly when you add that extra burden of that favoritism tag.
Yeah, certainly an interesting situation here for Athletico, but I do think, there's still a lot of growing to be done for them. Yeah. And, even if they don't necessarily perform to expectation at this LAN, then they are going to be having a reasonably bright future. And obviously we also have to mention, I guess, that they are technically playing with a stand-in. Kyoto has been, replaced on that lineup by Wizard for the most part. But obviously he was a regular on their lineup. He was their core lineup for, the last 6 months. And only recently has Wizard come into this lineup. So they should be fairly comfortably with him.
On that first map.
Well, I guess,
Did the heavy lifting for him.
It's hard to say, he's got a sub, but when he's
Don't blame the sub,
being your best player, then, that raises some question marks, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we could probably talk about XL5 as well, because we're speaking about a team that is, they've been around been together in this lineup for a reasonable time. We're talking probably about 8 weeks or so, 2 months, I think it is roughly. And we're talking about a few players in this team who are not super experienced, but there are certainly players in there who are, hitting that. We talk about Ferg. He's about as experienced as it gets in Australia, really. He's up there with the other guys like Destiny as well. Obviously, he's more experienced than Destiny, actually. He's played overseas for French teams way back in the day, back when I used to play. And so,
Dinosaur years.
Yeah, Dinosaur. Thanks, yep. Didn't need to make that one perfectly obvious. I thought back in the day it was loose enough that I could get away with that one. But anyway. Super experienced guy, Ferg, and obviously does the calling and the leading in there. And his read of the game has gotten better over the last 6 months, I say. He's the XL5 name. It's been around. It came about probably about this time or May-ish last year when the first iteration came through, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they've had a lot of star players on that team.
Yeah.
But they've never really managed to get some results.
Well, it's always been a team that has, I guess, had some good players on it, and then they've had a shuffle a couple of months later and got some more good players, but again, that lineup hasn't necessarily worked out, and they've shuffled again. So this is just the latest iteration, and if you compared this one to the first iteration of XL5, I think probably the only player remaining is Ferg.
Yeah, it is.
Everything else has changed since then, so it's really, you can't even compare to that lineup at all, apart from the name, which is basically irrelevant in that situation. So, you know, there's obviously a bit of a struggle in the Australian scene where there's a lot of these changes going on and all that sort of thing. But, I mean, for now, at least this XL5 lineup has stuck together and they've been doing some good work. Pex, especially for me, has been the one to be stepping up of late. But again, we haven't really seen him reach that level at this event so far. And he's the one that I'm really looking to be able to step up and win these games for XL5 because, you know, when your top fragger for the last month has been able to pull you through the online stages, you really expect that they should be the one to come onto LAN and be able to do the same thing. Yes,
and again, it's the online to LAN transition that we're talking about. It's not as easy as just turning up to a different place and clicking on heads sometimes. There's a lot of other pressures involved with it. I think another player that we should probably talk a little bit about as well on the XL5 team is Mizu. Now, Mizu did go overseas last year with Legacy and then decided that he wanted to play not quite as serious as that Legacy team was wanting to in terms at that time and dropped off to XL5 where it was probably slightly more relaxed than Legacy in terms of what we perceive at least between the two teams. I think going and thinking about Mirage in particular, that first map we saw that Mizu was pretty good there, and he's one of the sort of the players, one of those sort of quiet achiever guys.
Yeah, I agree.
He racks up numbers, and I think if you want to put him in another sort of pinch hole, a similar player would be Imagine from Team Immunity as well. He's a guy that sort of just picks up, and you see he picks up a 2 or a 3K here, and it's not a flashy one. Yeah. So we don't go, oh wow, look at the frags, but they're really critical and just he's putting numbers on the board basically. So I think it's been pretty good as well. But he's probably not hitting his cap either as well in terms of what you're talking about with Pex. So he's not hitting his cap either. So there's probably still a reasonable amount to come up from this XL5 team. So if they can keep the momentum that they gained several minutes ago in this map, then they're going to look pretty good for Train, I think.
Yeah, I mean, someone that is certainly reaching their cap or probably even exceeding their cap is Ferg, who typically we don't look to be the one that's to be doing some of the fragging, really. But at least in the last couple of days, especially today, he's looked actually quite good, been winning a lot of aim duels, a lot of 2-for-1s or 3-for-1s in his favour. So, when that's happening for XL5, then that's probably a good sign, but maybe not necessarily the greatest sign considering Ferg's not the one that's supposed to be doing that, right? They want someone like Pex to be doing that.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, in the case where Pex, let's say, isn't doing his work as well, if Ferg is able to step up and keep bringing the game that he's bringing from a tactical in-game leading perspective, as well as step up a little bit on the scoreboard, it's all going to lift a little bit more, and it's going to take a little bit of pressure off the other players as well, because they are in there, and if they're sitting there in the game and, you're sitting there and you're 2-7 after 9 rounds or something like that, and you've gotten 2 easy, cheap frags, and that's all you've got. But if your other teammates are doing the work and the scoreboard overall is going pretty well in your favour, then that releases the pressure off you a little bit and enables you to play your natural game a little better. Something else that I'd like to point out as well, we're talking about Ferg there as well. Something that you guys as an experienced player that you've been around quite some time and all that, played in a lot of different scenarios and competitions and over a couple of games as well for different versions of Counter-Strike, is your game sense as well. And that's what I think that Ferg is actually doing pretty well in this scenario. That we saw on a few occasions him walking up onto the A site, and the fellas on the desk mentioned as well that they were able to walk up, get into that A site. I remember him just shooting in the back infrequent on the stairs from mid, who was watching A ramp, and there was no cover there for him whatsoever. So he's able to sense what's going on in the game a little bit more, and he's using that to get those advantages in those battles and the duels that you're thinking about.
Yeah, and I guess the only player that we haven't really talked about here for XL5 is Zorbot, of course. Yeah. And, I think I'm kind of probably guilty of maybe underselling Zorbot quite a lot. I never really have spoken about him and given him many accolades, but I certainly think that he is one of the players for XL5 that has stepped up on this LAN, and we saw him doing some good work yesterday.
Well, and today as well. That 3K in that final round on, not final round, one of the rounds on Mirage, a 3K with a Deagle, kept his team in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, certainly. And I remember him from days gone by, the dinosaur age, as you called it.
Yep.
He was a handy player. Obviously, he's gotten took a bit of time out of the game and it's come back into it. But it's good to see him hitting up on the levels that you know that skill-wise at least, his skill cap, he's starting to get up there in terms of what he can achieve.
On the other hand, though, I mean, having a look over at Athletico, I still don't think. I mean, the analyst desk rather spoke about this just a little bit before this matchup started, that they probably haven't reached their potential at all.
Not even close.
We've seen them online absolutely smashing everyone. They've played everyone at this competition and beaten them with relative ease. I mean, a couple of them went to 2-1, but Athletico were able to pull them back and really take out the victory with some maps where they were just like 16-5 or 16-4 in the favor of Athletico. So real completely
Meanwhile, Parallax are laughing. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting situation, but Parallax did look very good yesterday. But I guess having a look at the players, at least specifically on Athletico, someone that I've always looked at on Athletico as one of their top players is Liaz. And for me, he has just been almost non-existent at this event. Even in the map where they won there on Mirage, I didn't really see him doing a whole lot. I think, you know, we did, well, obviously it was a lot of it was Kyoto getting that 30 bomb. But really, Liaz is always the one that I've looked at to pick up those clutch rounds and really come up with some crazy frags and something out of nowhere. And that's just not happening at the moment. So on one hand, that's a good thing for Athletico. It means they have a little bit in the bank. But on the other hand, if Liaz doesn't actually step up in the following, you know, maybe this map, or even if they do get through to Parallax, if he doesn't step up there, then that's not going to bode well for Athletico.
If you've got money in the bank, but you're not going to get it out, what's the point of having the money in the bank?
Indeed.
So I completely agree with you there, Liaz. Does have to step it up for Athletico, and really at this stage, 5-zip down in the second map of his best of 3. They all need to step up a little bit and work their way into it. And we can see already a slight change in approach to taking this. They're on the buy again, and they're trying to put a little bit more pressure on this inside side.
I think that's not a bad idea. I mean, they've been heavily favoring that A-bomb site, so just getting a bit of pressure onto the B-bomb site, put a bit of doubt in the mind here of XL5. Who's going to work out? Okay, they've already got the first 2 frags, but Zorbot will be able to bring 1 back there onto Chuch. Still a good situation here for Athletico. As I say that, though, Kex is going to be able to find 1. He's traded out straight away, and Frequent is going to go down to Mizu there, and it's back to a 2 versus 2. Mizu trying to stop that cross there from Kyoto, but the bomb is in the hand there of Liaz, who is trying desperately to find a position where he can put it down. Not quite safe just yet. Mizu playing far too closely to the bomb to be able to actually safely plant that. And in the end, Mizu is going to be able to take down Liaz, and you'd expect he'll be able to take down Kyoto. A great round from Mizu there.
That round tells me a lot about where Athletico are at, because they should have had that round pretty easy. They had a 4 versus 2 at one stage, I think it was. Yeah. Or it was at least a 4 versus 3, and they had position on the bomb site. They had cover there, and just didn't get it done. So got to give your hats off to XL5 there. They crawled their way back into that, as they have done on a number of occasions already on this half. So really strong play there from XL5. But yeah, Athletico not doing so great in that round, that's for sure.
Certainly looks like we're going to be seeing some sort of a set strategy coming out here from Athletico on towards that A-bomb site. They've got a couple of smoke grenades and a few flashbangs and molotovs to work with as well, but I'd suspect they probably want to get a few kills in this one and the bomb down, if not the win. They have invested a little bit into this round. Seth is going to start off. Mizu with a great spray into the smoke is going to deny the bomb plan here from Athletico, and it's a horrible situation now. Athletico basically running around looking for some frags. They're going to find 1, but it's going to be so difficult to get anything else out of this round now that that bomb has been denied. Great stuff from XL5.
Yeah, shutting that one down. And there's a case of, like, 2 people went in, like, hard there for Athletico, but 3 were still sitting way back. I think they got counter-flashed really hard, and that's the strength of utilities there, and XL5's defensive play there that really won them the round there. So 7-zip now.
It's getting a bit worrying for Athletico, isn't it?
A bit worrying, yeah. They need to get this one on the board, otherwise we're going to see it just spiral out of control pretty rapidly here for them. Infrequent, did do pretty good work in their previous gun round, so not the the last round, but the preceding round of that. Did get a good pick on the inside site, but then despite the success of being able to take that site and then faltering in the bomb plant scenario on the inside, they've opted to go back to the A site, where they haven't had a lot of success thus far.
Yeah, well, I mean, they haven't had a lot of success across the board here. Athletico really haven't been having much of a sniff in any of these rounds. They've been going quite convincingly in the favour of Exile5. And at the moment, Athletico just content to hold their angles, probably waiting to see if Infrequent is going to be able to get a pick from up in Ivy here with that orb. But now, slowly but surely, making their way in towards the site. And
yeah, Athletico don't really have any information here whatsoever, and the fact, and as a result of that, Exile5 are reading them really nicely. Already in the Flames goes down Infrequent, and following him goes down Kyoto as well. So Liaz has made his way out now, and we've got a trade there. Chuch picks up one as well. So back into a 3 versus 3, but Mizu has traded back yet again. Speaking now in terms of positioning on the site. Sonic picking up a lovely kill here, but Mizu can potentially clutch this one there as well. They don't know where he is at the moment, and if he's able to pick up Liaz here and see where he's playing from, or perhaps Sonic as he walks around.
They have no idea where he was. He was sitting on the bomb train, so they probably expected him to go in somewhere like the connector, but he's managed to lurk his way all the way around Ivy. Oh, that's shocking from Mizu. Please, he needs to be able to pick this kill up, and well, even if he does, that's not good at all. That's not good at all. But gifting Athletico their first round there when he had a very good chance of being able to pick up that clutch there. Unfortunate there for Exile5, but still, they're not going to be too worried. They're still 7-1 up. They've got enough money to buy into this one. And maybe they can just reset the economy here from Athletico and everything can be forgiven.
Not going to be too worried. I'd be worried if I was seeing that play from Mizu, one of your fraggers. Anyway, we won't focus on that one too long. I think...
yeah, let's try and miss it.
We won't rub salt into the wound, that's for sure. Because, I mean, once he got that one down, it's probably down to a 50-50 as to who that round goes to. And if it goes in XL5's favour, then the pressure again mounts strongly onto Athletico. But Infrequent got the opening pick in this round. Seth has traded nicely on the Chuch. And there's a lot of map control here for XL5 as well. In terms of Ferg, they can't get the kill on Infrequent, so it's starting to slip out of their hands there as well. So Athletico might end up being one of those teams that are just heavily momentum favoured.
Yeah, and they, well, they're doing okay at the moment in this round, and Exile5 really have, I guess, let their foot off the pedal at the moment because they were looking so strong, and then all of a sudden things starting to go back in the favour of Athletico. Pex really needs to find the next frag here, but he's going to be taken down quite easily there by Sonic as he tries to escape into the A-bomb site. And now a 3v1 Seth. We've seen him do it before, and he's already got the first frag here onto Kyoto with the AWP. Can he hold on to this A-bomb site? Just waiting now for Athletico to make their move. The smokes and Molotovs going down, and it does seem like maybe they're just going to hold off for the moment here. 40 seconds left on the clock. They've got plenty of time to play with, and they're actually opting to rotate across to the B-bomb site, which is not a bad decision at all.
Well, Seth just hasn't quite figured it out, but now with that smoke going down, he has. So he's going to be able to hold an angle here just to see whether he can get a frag or not. So if he gets this one, or gets a frag in this scenario, then he should go for it. Otherwise, should probably save it despite the money that XL5 has got in the bank.
Even now, that even if he gets that frag on the player who planted the bomb as he crossed, it would have almost been an impossible situation. There was the player already set up in the post-plant position up on the heaven area there, and, well, it's almost unwinnable from that point for the CT. Seth is just running around on the site. He's been completely outflanked there by Liaz, and really just an easy kill for Liaz. He secures himself an AWP as well, presumably for Infrequent, and Athletico put 2 on the board.
So you look at the cash. If you say the AWP, it would have been an easy buy here for XL5, but now they're going, no, Mizu's got a lot of cash, Seth has got a good amount of cash, but they can't quite buy because the other player's in there. So potentially an economic mistake from Seth there in terms of trying to get there, but you can also understand why he was going for it, because if he manages to pull off a 2v1, that's going to be devastating for Athletico. Yeah. Devastating.
Well, now XL5 on the eco round. We've seen them pull it off a couple of times, and that's a good start there. Not sure what Ferg's shooting at, but in the end, it's still okay. Mizu does take down Sonic, and they've secured themselves the AK, putting it onto Seth. Thank you for swapping it over to Mizu. That would have been a little bit of an interesting question mark there, putting it on the 12 HP player, but nice stuff from XL5, and this is how you win an eco round. You get that one gun out of the hand, you put it on a player, and if they can pick up another couple of frags, then all of a sudden you're in with a chance.
You should almost just go for sort of exit frags here. Just try and camp your exits and basically make Athletico run into you as the bomb goes off and pick up the kills there. But instead, they're getting picked off Juan by Juan. And all that's left alive is Zorbot, and he doesn't even have that AK that they managed to pick up earlier.
Yeah, Zorbot probably not going to be able to retrieve that weapon at all over on the B bomb site, being that he is. And he's got the Deagle to work with. Again, probably not something that he's too bothered about keeping and saving. Might look for an exit frag here, but...
the wrong spot, unfortunately for him. That's all right, he's not to know. He does not have the benefit of X-ray, so... Atletico starting to crawl their way into this now. So 7-3, and I said 6 is the pass mark for them to be able to really compete in the second half. And I mean, if they win this round, they're going to start to get close to that and have the situation, monetary speaking, as well to get up to that point. But the double AWP setup has come out from XL5. Mizu being the second AWPer for them on most occasions has picked it up as well as Seth. So now we're going to see Seth actually is holding the lower ramp on the inside side with the AWP as that close angle here. And outside, Mizu is floating around basically down the back of the bomb train there on the A side. So missing the shot there, and he's going to get overrun if he's not careful there. Seth manages to get away with his life. Pex, well, not so much in the end. Infrequent managing to win that AWP battle there and picking off Seth. He probably wasn't expecting him to be poking out there. Chuch in the meantime gets one done, gets 2 done here on the A-bomb side. That's a really good play from him. And this is going to allow Athletico to run rampant through in a 5 versus 2 scenario. And Pex and Zorbot should try and save their weapons.
Yeah, it'll be a tough situation, though. They've got 5 Athletico players to go up against. Sonic is going to be able to take down Zorbot. And now down to Pex with the AWP here. But surely he'll be hunted down by Athletico. And yesterday we saw XL5 trying to get that double AWP setup working against the Chiefs. And, I mean, in a sense it worked out because they were winning the rounds, but it seemed like it wasn't necessarily because of the double AWP. Mizu with the secondary AWP basically had no impact in the rounds. It was Seth who was getting some nice AWP shots going across, and the rest of the players with rifles were cleaning up. Nice shot from Kyoto as I'm speaking, but...
Pex.
Pex rather, yeah, onto Kyoto. Yep. But really, it was XL5. They got the AWPs out, but it didn't seem like it was really that effective.
Ooh, and finally, Pex goes down after picking up 3. So good play there from Athletico. Probably worthwhile, the 3 losses there.
I'd suspect so.
Yeah, well, they've got 8K on Infrequent there and 7.5 on Liaz. And Kyoto understands the money scenario that is XL5's woes right now. Not enough for a buy. But Mizu has gone with a scout, and they've got pistol armor on Pex and Ferg to boot. So 7-4 is the scoreline. Atletico winning the last 4 in a row after XL5 starting out very strongly on the CT side. But one of the things that Sniper mentioned in Pex.
Good shot from Pex, but it's not going to be enough there. Gets absolutely overwhelmed on that B-bomb side. And we have seen XL5 invest a little bit into this round. Seth has picked up Mizu's scout, and there was a couple of players who bought up on a bit of armor as well. Really not going to be working out too well for them at all in this one, because Athletico have already got that bomb down. Ferg surely going to be going down here. Seth actually managing to find one, but again, it's really a consolation prize at this stage.
No, Kent's not going to be able to defuse in this scenario. Don't know whether their money is good enough to... Well, he picks up an AK instead, so that's a win. And it gets another kill. There's more wins coming out, but it's still not enough time to actually win the round here for the team. And he'll probably lose the AK here as well. I don't think he has enough time to get away, does he? Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Infrequent gone down.
Infrequent down here. So it's a great result there, really, for XL5.
Yeah, it was a
Pick
good
up an AK, and they killed. Everyone died on Athletico. So you can see already. Look at Kyoto's cash there down the bottom there, 450 after buying. So it starts to put a little bit of doubt. I can imagine if they do lose this round, they'll go into a pistol armor type buy. But one of the things that we spoke, or that the desk spoke about, Ian brought it up, I believe, that XL5 are a little bit slow to adapt to what Athletico were doing. And weren't really capitalising on Atletico's mistake again here on this in terms of how the scoreline's going. The first 7 rounds, everything's cruisy. Atletico changed it up, make some adjustments to how to attacking the map. XL5 not responding in the appropriate way.
Yeah, Athletico once again just setting up pretty default, really not putting too much pressure on either of these bomb sites just yet. You can see, however, that Chuch is floating around up towards the top of B there. and he's probably getting a little bit of information on that B-bomb site that there's not that many people actually there. So this might lead Athletico to perhaps move over to that B-bomb site, try and overwhelm it when there's only that single player holding that site.
It's a good call, and you can see the rotation is actually moving in towards there as well. So it's a fairly standard setup, one connector and 3 outside with 1 inside. Kyoto picks up now, and what's that going to do with that pick here? That's probably going to detract a little bit of the attention away from the inside. But in fact, Pex has picked up the first one as it comes down the ramp here, and again, it's going to be a fake out, so they're going to rotate back around to the A-bomb site. A lot of work here to be done for Athletico to get in still.
Yeah, Liaz is going to get the frag there onto Zorbot. Seth actually legging Sonic as he tries to cross to the trains. And, well, I guess he gets away with that one for the moment. But now Infrequent has arrived on that A-bomb site. He's getting flanked out, though, and needs to be careful of his positioning. Pex is going to come behind him and actually picks up a reasonably easy kill in the end there, but a really nice work from his positioning. Liaz will trade back, but again, EXILE5 looking good into this one. Liaz, the remaining player, has to defend this bomb. He's been spotted out, and Pex popping him down as that smoke blooms. A good round coming out in the end there for EXILE5, and they go 8-5 up. They brought back another round in their favor, and now Athletico are on struggle street.
With the bomb down, they're going to be able to buy, which is great. Well, you spoke about Pex in that technical timeout we had before about Pex not really stepping up. It was a 4K from him.
Well,
great
when we came back from that little technical timeout, Pex was only bottom fragging for EXILE5. Now he's sitting on 12, almost top fragging for EXILE5, so certainly has stepped up in this small passage of play.
So EXILE5 finally being able to stop the run of rounds that Athletico were putting together. It was a nice run by them. But now, most importantly, if Athletico are able to do this, we'll see the economy reset. So Seth has been it's like a 50-50 with the orb from him thus far, because he's been able to hit quite a number of good shots. But I feel like every time we've seen him go up against that initial pick, that he's missed that first shot there. If he'd taken that, it would have been a much different scenario there. And well, at least there, good trade from him. And it's bringing it back into a 4 versus 4 there, and 3 out on the A-bomb site as it's been taken by Athletico.
Well, for now it has, but Mizu not too keen on the idea. He's going to be taking one back onto Kyoto. Going to be lurked around upon, not necessarily lurked, but flanked, I guess is the word I was looking for there, by Sonic. And as a result, Sonic able to pick up a pretty easy kill there. Seth with a good push through this smoke should be able to catch one off guard. Has spotted out Sonic and actually picks up Liaz as well. Great work from him. Does get a shot in towards Chudge, but doesn't manage to do a whole lot of damage. Has a pretty reasonable awareness of where both of these players are from the Athletico Brotherhood. But EXILE5, this is going to be a tough round for them to win. It's really ticking in the favor of Athletico there. And Sonic with a nice frag onto Seth. 6 on the board now for Athletico. They're getting towards that pass scoreline. If they pick up this 7th one, it'll actually be a pretty good T-side, despite what we felt like EXILE5 doing a very good job.
Yeah, and money scenario for EXILE5. Winning 1, losing 1. Ba-bow. No cash whatsoever. So the scout comes up on Mizu for him. So I said 6 was a pass score. They've achieved it, so they can get the 1 more. We're looking for a birdie from Athletico in the end, which is a great comeback for them in terms of mental fortitude. Mizu picking up the first one on Infrequent. No AWP, no worries, he says. Kyoto trades back 2, in fact, from a triple push on Vines there. So 3 versus 2 now, but still with a gun disadvantage for EXILE5. And in fact, map disadvantage, because although the bomb is a little bit late, I can see it getting planted here.
Yeah, Mizu going to have to come up big once again with the shot from that scout. Maybe he can peek in towards the B ramp and pick off Chudge as he enters in. But it seems more like Mizu actually just keen to sit back in the connector, probably give up control of this B bomb site, just so that he can play the round with his teammate Zorbot, as opposed to try and find that 1v1 or the 1v2, which might not necessarily go in his favor.
Yeah, it's a good play. Allow the opposition to make the play and make it let them know where it is, rather than trying to force the issue himself. But Sonic gives away his position a little bit prematurely there, and Zorbot might be able to take him out. He does in the end there, so it's 2 versus 1.
I don't think they'll expect Chudge to be this far up the bomb side. He might get himself in a good position, but no. Mizu coming up too strong with the scout there, and 9-6 will be the first half scoreline. And I mean, it's still not a bad result there from Athletico, considering they were down 7-0. I think Team EXILE5 are going to be a little bit disappointed with that.
A little disappointed, but that's a pretty big round in terms of momentum within the match there as well, picking up that last round there. So picking up one and then losing one, but then managing to pick up the last one there as well. That's going to provide them a good bit of confidence going into the second round, which is one of the keys that the desk highlighted for XL5 coming into this second map. Just because, I mean, they lost their pick on Mirage.
Yeah.
But now playing pretty well on train, as they did yesterday against the Chiefs.
Well, we'll see how it turns out on their T side this time. Obviously, that was where they somewhat fell short against the Chiefs. And now moving over to that one, they'll be on the pistol round here. Seth actually taking away the Tech 9 armor buy, so
the raid boss.
Yeah, the raid boss coming out here. Not something we see too often actually anymore, but
not in Australia.
Yeah,
no.
not in
But
Australia.
No, we see it a little bit overseas. Players like JW, that sort of player, that very dynamic player. I guess the equivalent in Australia, well, Athletico would probably be your infrequent, or Liaz. That would be the idea behind it. So you stack your best player, your best aim with the resources and hope for the best. So it's going to be an inside hit from XL5, setting up smoke splashes to come in, and there are 3 people ready to defend this. Let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, it's been a good read here for Athletico. Not typical to have 3 players over towards the B bomb side, but XL5 going to get in there okay, not taking too much damage. Infrequent though, massive flank there. Finally going to get the kill onto Ferg as he's planting the bomb, but it doesn't matter how you do it as long as you get it done in the end. And a nice shot there onto Zorbot to close things out. A very good pistol round coming out from Athletico.
Yeah, they had a good push on the outside, and that telegraphed the play entirely. That's why the rotation from Infrequent was so quick.
Yeah.
Despite the bomb planting hitbox, perhaps letting him down a little bit there. Yeah, it turned out pretty well in the end. So they're able to wrest a little bit of that momentum off XL5 from the previous half, and they're going to go in for the Tech 9 buy again. So they're going to double down, hope for the best, try and see if they can repeat what they did on Mirage, which is actually win this round when they're on the T side, despite losing the pistol.
Well, XL5 have actually had pretty reasonable success rate with their force buys and eco rounds.
Yeah, good point.
In this matchup in particular. So it's certainly not a surprise for me to be seeing XL5 deciding to force into this one. Unfortunately, they've lost Seth early to Infrequent, but they still have a reasonable chance of this one.
Not really doing anything much with that chance yet. You see Pex is trying to find a little bit of an angle somewhere, hoping to find a player from Athletico stuck out in the open, and he's picked up a little bit of information. Ferg's going to go out with him here now to try and bait out the play, and Freeman picks up his second for the round. And this looks like it's pretty much all done and dusted. No kills. And effectively a waste of money for XL5.
Yeah.
Can't buy this round. It's going to be a full eco for them.
XL5 got absolutely nothing out of that round, not even a single kill. So a very disappointing force buy just after we've been applauding them for typically what's been their good force buys. So regardless, XL5 now, as you mentioned, going to be on the eco, and Athletico looking pretty good heading into this second half. They'll probably be sitting on a 9-9 score after this, and from there on out, they can build into trying to take away this second map.
Yeah, Liaz and Infrequent are actually topping for Athletico now. So the 2 key players for them, and we've spoken about them, and the desk spoke about them earlier on this morning, as well as being the people to watch for Athletico. We're starting to put up some numbers. They've got 14 apiece so far. Going into this 18th round, and we can see XL5 will undoubtedly attempt to get a plant going on. Smoke goes down.
Well, a good spray there coming out from Sonic. He's going to be able to pick up Seth. He also managed to get Ferg on the cross. Chucks in the meanwhile with the Molotov, picking up a couple of frags for himself as well. Very good hold again from Athletico, not losing a single gun. And similar to what we saw for XL5 as they started off their CT side, now Athletico have started off their CT side very well, not losing very many players, getting that economy rolling. And this could spell trouble now for XL5.
Yeah, it's interesting to see whether Athletico choose to buy into this round any further than what, because they're running with 3 Famises and the UMP on Liaz, and in fact, they haven't. So they're not pulling out the AWP yet, because they probably feel like their utilities can go quite a way. That force buy we saw in the second round means fairly short on utilities. You've got all the smokes there, and you've got a few flashes, but outside of that, there's no Molotovs, there's no grenades, and that's going to make it harder for XL5 to work their way into the bomb site. So what you'll typically see teams doing in this sort of scenario is go for a straight execute, because you have 5 smokes, you use them all, and you get them in, and then you rely on your play after that. So Mizu has actually picked up 1, Ferg picks up the second here, so the B-bomb side is open. And I think they're going to be a little bit slow to make a decision here. They haven't chosen to roll with that play, that pick and roll type scenario.
Immediately, as a, I guess, result of those 2 picks there from XL5, you can see Sonic here pushing very aggressively into A main, now heading in towards T spawn. He's getting a lot of information for his teammates, and he's also found himself in a very good position. So Athletico adapting to the situation, and hopefully, I guess, at least for them, it works out, because Sonic has found himself in such a good position here.
A really good read there from Athletico, but now they've got to execute the frags as well. Liaz picking up the first, sits in the same spot, gets the second, can't get the third though. And the bomb will go down here, and we're in a 3 versus 2, the 2 being in the favor of, rather, the 1 now being in the favor of Athletico. It's all on Sonic. He's in close and low, but gets taken down. So, XL5 capitalizing on their good picks to start off with there. And again, that's probably a little bit of what we saw in Mirage on the CT side from Athletico. We saw those occasions where players are able to basically just walk into a site, get a kill, and then just sort of disappear like nothing had happened again. And that's really, when you start those holes in that defense, it makes it very hard, and you become very twitchy as a player, because you're like, well, am I actually being covered here? Am I not? The communication probably drops off a little bit as well, and all those sorts of things.
Oh, great stuff from Infrequent, pushing aggressively up towards the brown halls. Hasn't been using the AWP so effectively of late, but certainly it seems like when he goes for those aggressive peaks, when he perhaps gets the good spawn for those aggressive peaks.
That's his natural game.
It is, exactly. And when he plays like that, he seems much more effective with the AWP than when he's just holding a line or doing something similar.
So Zorbot getting a trade to bring it back into a 4 versus 4. They've got 3 players on the outside bomb site to defend Athletico. The bomb has not yet decided exactly where it wants to go. Still looking at sort of a 2 versus, or a 2-1-1 split towards the A bomb site if they choose to go out here, which it looks like they're willing to do, as the bomb comes out down the ramp there, rather in mid, and it has gone down now. So it's a 2 versus 4. Athletico looking pretty comfortable in here in this round again. So good response from them, really.
Certainly is. I mean, they kind of capitulated in the previous round, but they've solidified again here in the following round, and it does look like they're going to be bringing this back to 10-10. Liaz might get caught off guard, but just swings his vision back in time to see Zorbot exiting that smoke. Now Seth finding himself in a 1v4, only 12 HP to work with, or 11 HP in fact, but he's just going to try and keep this AK in the game. It's going to be tough though. Still 20 seconds left here for Athletico if they decide to hunt him down. Could be a bit of a risk though.
They don't really need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Jordan, where do you see this one going from here?
As in terms of who's going to win the map?
Yeah. What do you think?
It seems at the moment like Athletico are probably looking a little bit stronger on this one, in my opinion. So I would back them to actually close this one out. Well,
it's 10 apiece, so we'll see where it goes from here. The buy is able to easily be done by Athletico. Mizu has got some good cash. Seth has saved that AK. So really, when you save that weapon and you've got 1,300, I guess you should probably buy a little bit extra into this round from your other players. Sort of see. We'll see where Seth goes with it. He's heading towards the inside bomb side here. So really, I think he's probably ideal sort of scenario is like I guess your death squad type approach. So send in Seth, see if you can get a pick, and then roll in straight after that. But he's actually trying to pick the A bomb site from the Pop Dog area, or the squeaky ladder as you may know it.
Well, regardless of what happens, it is going to have to be a pretty big performance from Seth if they want to close this round out in the favor of Exile5. Ferg probably not going to be too effective with the Glock at that range. Sonic will be finding himself probably the easiest frag of his life as he takes down Ferg there. Peck's now trying to make inroads in towards the B bomb site, but also really probably not going to have a huge amount of success. Down to 39 HP. Still haven't seen much from Seth. He's just sitting around in Pop Dog, not doing a whole lot.
He got smoked off earlier, so now he's actually found his way out. And this, again, this is what we were talking about, what the desk has been talking about. He just walks out the ladder, goes all the way through. He could get into the connector now. He's got one above him that he gets down.
He got himself into a bad position, but I understand what you're saying. He basically just walked into the site uncontested, got himself a free frag, and could have done a whole lot more from there. Mizu is going to try and get the bomb down, but will be quickly flanked there by Sonic. And around on the board there for Athletico, but that is something that Athletico needs to identify. They're not necessarily holding off all the angles. There's holes in their defense that people are just walking straight through.
Yeah, they potentially got away with it a little bit on Mirage. Let's just see whether they can get away with it basically again. And that's what the Jim brought up as well on the desk, is being able to capitalise. XL5 capitalising on those mistakes, and that's a scenario there where I didn't quite go in their favour, but if they're able to get one, and of course as well, that being an eco round primarily, it's just Seth just having that gun from the previous round. If they're able to get that frag there and maybe turn it into a double perhaps by sort of sneaking around further, then they're going to look pretty good. And they're going to be able to roll through and just slowly basically degrade Atletico's defence rather than just sort of trying to go for that shock and awe execute style, which is pretty much the normality on train.
Just to let everyone know, this is a tactical pause coming out, which is probably the first one that we've actually seen this weekend. So
good to see.
It's probably a good time for it as well, regardless of which team called it.
Well, now the other team's got one up their sleeve, don't they?
They do.
For later on.
They do indeed.
Yeah.
Both teams probably make good use of it, to be honest. Yeah,
exactly.
That's what you're getting at.
Both teams can obviously take good use to it as well. From this perspective here, from this tactical pause, we can see the Athletico guys having a little bit of chat. What's going on there? I probably feel like they probably feel like they're in control of the map at the moment, but they're going to have to tighten up on those little things where players like Seth are able to walk out on a very open bomb site, all the way to the bomb train before taking down a player who's sitting there. So they're going to have to watch out for that and try and adjust. And it comes down a little bit about communication, about chatting to your teammates about who's going where and when they're doing it. At XL5 here, they can't rely on being able to sneak out onto a bomb site.
No.
So they need to be able to have that as something that they can take advantage of when it occurs, but not something they can rely on to get them rounds.
You could see Ferg there just having a chat with the troops, I guess, so to speak, and everyone else listening and sitting patiently, waiting for the attack pause to be over. But I assume XL5 are going to come into this one with some sort of formulated strategy. And it is an important round coming out here for them. They did quite close in the last round, but not close enough. Atletico still sitting on that advantageous position, 11 and 10 in their favour.
So Kyoto's getting flashed in here. Just going to try and make an information play. Seth is actually waiting there for him with the AWP, and it looks like we're going to go see Seth with a pick there and Liaz there, just standing around on the top of the train there. Kyoto's got a lot of damage taken off from him as well. Infrequent finally trades one back, but it's a 4 versus 3 scenario, and he gets taken down again by Seth there. So XL5, this strategy, this outside take has worked out perfectly for them, and they're going to be able to get the bomb down, barring some heroics from Sonic here.
Well, absolutely no heroics there, and you can certainly see that tactical pause has worked out well for XL5. They only lost one player on the entry there, and it certainly did seem like they were a little bit more fluid there. I guess getting the entry frag quite easily from Seth does help, but it did seem like a good round coming out from XL5 regardless.
I certainly agree with your statement there, and the buy has been a little bit weak now, so Liaz is rolling with a CZ75. Hopefully he puts himself in a scenario where his range is very effective, i.e. pushed up nice and close. And at the moment they're running with a standard 3-2 setup, 3 outside, all fairly defensive. And the 2 on the inside side, Infrequent's holding that line that we saw Seth hold quite a number of times on that lower ramp close up with the AWP, and Chutch is there to step out and to help him escape where it needs to be. And we'll see whether XL5, interestingly enough, choosing not to go with the same sort of approach as the last round. There's a little bit more focus on the inside site and holding back defensively than there was previously. So as a result of nothing happening for the first 45 seconds, a player has rotated back into the mid-con, being Infrequent with the AWP.
Yeah, just going to be scoping out the B ramp.
Literally.
Yeah?
Yeah, with the scope.
Yep.
A little bit of a decoy tactic here being employed by Ferg. He might be trying the old, let's see what I can find out. Walker. In fact, he has. He's walked out lower ramp here, and this is going to be happening potentially again here for Athletico.
Well, he doesn't want to push through this smoke because Infrequent's waiting on the other side. But what? How does that even happen?
He's probably not looking at the right side, and Ferg is in a great position here to capitalize on the defense.
If he can get that frag, which he doesn't, Kyoto able to pick up the trade for Infrequent, but Pex is able to get one in response there in the favor of XL5. It's a 3v4 3v4 here for Athletico to negotiate. They don't really have much control of the bomb side either. Mizu trying to chase down this player in Ivy and finally catches up to Liaz there. But still, a couple of players versus a couple of players. No bomb down just yet from XL5 either, and it's miles away. What is going on here for XL5? Complete control of the A bomb site. Bomb nowhere to be seen, and an easy round in the end for Athletico.
That's got to hurt XL5. That burns. That's a deep burn. That is a rookie error. A rookie error indeed. Atletico escaping that round. Like that's a gifted round to them, and that gives them the lead as well. So all that great work that XL5 had done, but again, it was a case of, I mean, Ferg walked down lower ramp, and at the same time Mizu walked out a main and got all the way up towards the Death Alley area as well. It's just they're relying on this walk it out, see what happens, and when the lines change up a little bit, you can see Infrequent here is holding a more aggressive line on that B bomb site. Sonic picking up a kill here, and again this time they're stepping out, but it's being covered.
Yeah, good stuff here from Athletico. Certainly not letting anyone walk out onto that A-bomb site uncontested this time. Mizu is going to get a frag there onto Kyoto, but immediately traded back by Liaz. A 3-for-1 now, and XL5 really staring down the barrel of 13 rounds on the board here for Athletico. The pressure certainly mounting. It's down to Zorbot, but what can he do here? I mean, there's such a good crossfire set up here from Athletico. The post-plant, or not necessarily post-plant, the pre-plant situation, I guess, is where we're at. Not sure what was happening there. Infrequent, I mean, I guess he was watching Connector, but someone surely should have been covering his back. In the end,
surely should have been covering his back.
It doesn't matter in the end, I guess, because they win the round, but that's a gun out of the hands of Athletico that they have to rebuy.
Look at the economy here. Look at the economy. It's 3-9 on one player, 3-8, and another two players are in a similar position. So they'll be able to scrape it through. But if XL5 can, I mean, we've seen them come up with a couple of magical ecos.
Yeah.
If they come up with one now, that's going to have a huge impact on the Athletico economy, and that's going to basically tie the game back up at 13 apiece. So can XL5 come up with something again on this eco round?
Well, they're going to have to if they hope to win this map, because if Athletico gets to 14 rounds, then they've got a few rounds to play with, and I feel like they're going to be okay to close this one out. But we'll have to wait and see how this one turns out. Athletico certainly in the advantageous position with all of those guns. This grenade might do a little work. No, actually bouncing off the blue train there, not quite landing where it perhaps should have. In the end, Infrequent is going to be the first one to pick up a kill in this round.
And XL5 just basically waiting to get slaughtered here. The flash comes out, and here comes the slaughter. Kyoto with a double. Frequent picking up his second for the round as well. And it is all over Red Rover. 14-11 now for Athletico, putting themselves in a nice position to be able to take this one out to zip.
Yeah, certainly would be a much better performance considering how they played yesterday. I mean, I still don't think they're hitting their ceiling or anywhere near it. But at the moment, it's enough to take XL5 on. And, well, I mean, it's okay. You know, if they continue to go on the up and up as the tournament continues, that's really what you actually want to see.
Yeah, well, sure, you want to hit your best form in the grand final. But if your form in the semi isn't enough to take on a grand final type opponent, then you're in a little bit of trouble there as well. So XL5 opting to go for what seems to be a quick death. Yeah, so they looked like they wanted to go to make an inside play here, and Frequent picked up one early on, and now the inside play is going to come out anyway by the looks of things. The nade comes in defensively from Charge there as well. The Molotov's going to stop them getting onto the bomb site. Delay, delay, delay. In comes the assistance.
Oh,
Hex comes
flash
through. Yeah, great flash there as well. So a little bit of nice little meta teamwork from XL5, and they're working their way back into this round. In fact, all the way to a 2 versus 1 and the round score there. So that's a pretty big round win in the end, considering it was a 3 versus 5.
Pretty poor from Athletico. Pretty poor from Athletico.
You said it. I'm going to agree with you.
Well, I mean,
and this is what's worrying about. This is what the Jim and Ian have been worried about, is that Athletico, for them to progress, they need to stop these little mistakes there. The communication there. Yeah. Well, it's going to be. At least they've got a few rounds up their sleeve, let's put it that way for these guys.
Well, Mizu might be in trouble here if he gets grenaded out, but no, the grenade's just a little bit too late there from Athletico, but XL5 going to come in and grab a couple of quick kills. Sonic did grab one. Pex here with a good position to be able to take out Chuch, and as expected, this round should be going in the favor of XL5, and obviously Athletico here saving up to buy into the next round, but really they just shouldn't have lost that last round at all.
You're right. And and that's what the analyst has been saying. that Athletico need to tidy up their CT side so that, you know, like we've been talking about the guys just walking out. There's angles to the, you know, for the inside side, there's 2 angles to watch, right?
Yep.
And one of them's not being watched at all. Outside, there's 3 angles to the bomb site, and one of them's not being watched at all. There's some issues in terms of their defensive setups for Athletico, and they're getting punished a little bit. And I guess communication is probably what's letting them down there as well.
Infrequent changing up his position once again is going to be flashed out though by XL5 and forced to retreat back onto the A bomb site. 4 players really sitting on the A site here for Athletico. XL5 really taking control of Long and Ivy at the moment. And, well, it seems like that's where the brunt of their force is going to be pushing in from. You'd expect probably Pex to try and push through main there, but Seth with a great start there onto Infrequent. Getting the kill here. Could be seeing ourselves 14-14 here for XL5, depending on how this XL5 push goes.
Experience is shining through for XL5, and again, they're able to get out in certain positions with not being watched at all. All the focus was towards Ivy there. Luckily enough, Sonic turns around and picks up Ferg, so the attack has come onto the bomb site, and it's not looking good here for Athletico whatsoever. Left and right, 2 players more going down, pushing around the Ivy area. But now the problem is they have a couple of people still out on this bomb site, Athletico, in scenarios where it could turn pretty bad for them, but the numbers game wins all usually. And it's 3 versus 1. Church going to have to come up.
And they know exactly where he is as well. Yeah. So this is unwinnable for Church. He gets taken down there by Seth, who actually picks up 3 in the round. So a pretty respectable round coming out there for him. And 14-14. Now Athletico, their economy is looking absolutely shattered. Are they going to force into this one, or are they going to play for overtime?
Well, the timeout has been called, so we'll have to let the suspense build. I just want to point out the scoreline at the moment. Mizu has been able to do quite a bit of work, but again, it's just the 2Ks. It's not necessarily the massive rounds, but he's on 27 frags at the moment. And Seth has really come to prominence in this later rounds as well. So he's picked up on to 23 kills now as well. Leading the charge is Infrequent with 22, Naz with 21. Overall, though, some worrying signs for Athletico. They want to close this one out and finish it up. Well, I guess the thing for them there is that they have a map up their sleeve. So they can go into Dust 2, which is probably going to suit them a little bit better with, I mean, if the fragging power can keep stepping it up in terms of frequently as like they have, they've been leading from the front in terms of the frags department.
They are really going to have to pull something out of the hat here. I'm quite interested to see.
Well, Infrequent tried to pull the bunny hop out of that, the rabbit out of the hat with the bunny hop and got Ivy there, and he got shut down by Seth. So perhaps that trick's already been taken out of the pull.
I guess maybe they don't have much more left in their hat. Let's pull something out of their sleeve instead. But it's going to be... It's
an ace. Is an ace required? Is that
it probably is, to be fair. I mean, if they can force into this one and pull the round out of nowhere, then great. But probably the best one. It is really risky. Probably the best decision
percentage-wise, you're talking
is to play for overtime.
Yeah, that would be the percentage play. It's not. It's a pretty bitter pill to swallow when you get into that scenario where it's like.
Well, to be honest, it's their own fault, really. Like, there's no.
Yeah, this is true.
They can't justify like, oh, we just got unlucky. Well, no, not really. You lost an eco.
Yeah, you lost.
You lost a 3v5. That's what it was.
You lost a 3v5. Yeah, and it comes back again to communication and whatnot. But full credit to XL5, who are really capitalizing on the mistakes and being able to play in that mid to late round scenarios. They're really stepping up here. Once they get a window of opportunity into a bomb site, they're generally taking it pretty much and rolling through the round there. It's that initial pick there that's letting them down on a few occasions. That's what's keeping Athletico in the match as well. Is playing off against that initial pick. So we're going to go back live into it. 14-14 is the scoreline. And the eco has been opted for. So the bitter pill has been swallowed. Probably wasn't too nice, but it gives them a chance to at least win this map and not throw it away. Or risk it on a big play and perhaps, like you mentioned, the ace coming out in order for it to happen.
Well, really the only thing to work with here for Athletico is that one flashbang on Liaz, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Seth, you can see, has already picked up the first kill onto Kyoto. And XL5 really not too keen to rush into anything silly just yet. They're hanging around and not making any mistakes, so just playing slowly. This is fine. They've got plenty of time to work with. And they just don't want to walk into something like a stack where they get absolutely undone on this eco round from Athletico.
Again, the experience of Ferg being the leader here showing through, so trying to take it pretty easy there and using the weight of numbers to take this bomb site. So they do have to check this upper area as Chutch is kind of...
If he can stop the bomb plant, that might be useful. He's going to do it. Doesn't quite manage to convert the kill. Could have been a crucial frag there for Athletico. And actually, they're denying the plant for a reasonably long time here. But in the end, as you'd expect, Exile5 starting to get a bit of an advantage in this round. It's down to Liaz 1v4, 1v5 even, with only the USP and no hope at all.
No hope at all, hey? Never say never. Nice. I was 100% on your train. And again, there's probably a couple of frags in there that Athletico could have taken. Really, I mean, that Chutch one, Chutch should have made that frag there on the bomb planter and given himself at least an opportunity to take a second frag. And then again, there was another missed frag in there as well. I mean, we're talking ego frags, but they were both gettable kills. And XL5 are on the verge of bringing this back to a 1-1 map scoreline and forcing it to a third map on Dust 2. Infrequent has his AWP. The eco decision was the smart decision to try and force overtime here, but now they've got to execute. Athletico, that is, and then force the overtime to occur.
Yeah, and Frequent not going for any of those aggressive pushes that we've often been seeing him do here on train, and I think that might not be the greatest of decisions here. I mean, I feel like it's better to let him play his natural game and be confident about it. So we'll see how this round turns out, but at least I would have very much liked to have seen Infrequent try and get a pick early on in the piece. Yeah,
and he missed the shot there on Mizu, which would have telegraphed a little bit of information as well as the bombs going down. What he doesn't realise is Seth is on the other side, so if Seth steps out and checks this line, which is probably a little bit of a weird line to check from that angle, but if he does, then it's going to be an easy frag for him because Infrequent will probably not be expecting it. But he has not peeked out just yet. Chutch is getting some work done. That's Ferg again. So this time, the two people staying on that B bomb site has proven very strong for Athletico, because instead of Ferg being able to wander out and just do what he likes, he hasn't. And now Seth has gone down. And like I said just a minute ago, when Athletico get those early frags and everything's going well, it looks like it to be a good round from them. But can Mizu save it for XL5?
We have already seen XL5 come from behind. That was on the B-bomb side. This time on the A side, Mizu doing a good job of it, finding two already. He's going to get the third. There is a trade out though. Zorbot, his teammate, has gone down. It's a 1v2. Mizu should be able to get the bomb down safely here, but he actually fakes the plant and now has found himself probably in a less than ideal situation. Will eventually get that bomb down, but being shot as it happens, and Sonic able to close that one out. We are going to go to overtime here between XL5 and Athletico on train.
The bitter pill turns sweet later on, and they have an opportunity to take this. Athletico have the opportunity to take this map out 2-0. So we're rolling into overtime in just, well, pretty quickly. And we have a look at the scoreboard there as well. Mizu knocks up the 30 bomb, 31 frags in regular time.
So obviously Athletico going to be staying on that CT side. It is MR6, so 3 rounds a half for the overtime. $10,000, no $16,000 cash to start off. So no worries in terms of the economy here.
Well, you still have to be a little bit cautious on the CT side when buying an AWP, because if you buy AWP 2 rounds in a row, you got no cash for the third round. So
yeah, well, trying times here now for XL5. They had a great opportunity to be able to close out the map, but similarly, Athletico probably would have felt they had a great opportunity to close out this map. And now both teams suddenly finding themselves in the overtime situation. High pressure for, probably more so for XL5 because they don't have that extra map up their sleeve. But certainly Athletico would be keen to get this one out of the way. And ooh, wow.
That's about the most damage I've ever seen a grenade do, and Ferg just absolutely books Infrequent there. Read it just perfectly, and that is a cheap frag, and it has the positive impact of the AWP going down off the map as well. And at the same time that's happening, look at the 3 members from XL5 just sneaking their way outside, coming out Ivy there. And so Pex gets the first kill. It was being watched there by Sonic, but he couldn't get the job done. Kyoto finally turns around and trade, but he's going to go down as well. So XL5 coming into fruition here in the first round of overtime, and it's a 3 versus 1. Chutch being the only one left alive. He's flanking from Pop Dog. Is he going to be able to do anything? He's been hurt out here. Ferg has got him covered, I believe. And a really good round there from Ferg as well. And that pick.
Yeah, I think it all sort of just spiraled out of control after that pick from Ferg onto Infrequent, and everything just seemed to go wrong there for Athletico. Yeah. They just had no idea where the damage was coming from, and they just seemed to just be a bit lost.
It's the focus of the players. So when something happens, it feels like they're sort of 2 or 3 people are trying to all do a similar sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, we had 3 people just wandering up Ivy there and straight away getting the pick there after the inside pick. So then someone's rotated going back towards inside, is slightly out of position as well. And then that whole defense, all the lines that have been set up have all gone, just gone out the window there. And that's what Athletico have been really been relying on, is getting the first frags in the round, and then working their way into it from that. When they don't get that first frag on this CT side, it gets all pretty awkward for them.
Oh, Infrequent going to get the warbang onto Seth, but Seth does one better and picks him up straight off the bat. Atletico once again heading into this round with Infrequent down, and he's been a very strong player for them throughout the regular part of the map. But now heading into the overtime.
Regular time, yeah.
The regular time is the word I was looking for. But in overtime now, he's certainly really dropping the ball, I think, for Atletico.
Again, Ferg's just being a little bit of a nuisance here on the B bomb site. So one player actually moved back towards the connector, but Ferg's presence up atop of the B bomb site has caused the player to rotate back in, which is not good news if you're an XL5 fan, because that means that the B hit that's obviously going to come here, based on what we can see from where the bomb is not going to happen. But now the fake has sort of occurred.
Zorbot needs to be careful here. He's been actually caught off guard. Kyoto in the correct angle. Zorbot checking the wrong side, and he's going to be taken out. Mizu, though, is going to get an entry onto the B side, and the B side now completely in the favor of Exile5. Atletico going to have a tough retake here. Exile5 have got some decent post-plant positions. You can see Seth's still up in the brown halls. Pex is going to take one. Kyoto trading back, and it's a 2 versus 2 now. Sonic and Kyoto trying to make their way down towards the bomb, but it's going to be tough. Seth is going to get an easy kill there onto Sonic, and now this is the situation which is so difficult for the
molly.
CT. The Molotov really shutting things down here, and it's almost impossible for Kyoto to win from this point.
Yep, Seth is just playing it nice and quiet and smart, and gets it done there. So another great round there from XL5. Some real experience is shining through here, and they're pretty confident at the moment, and the confident XL5 is really nailing a lot of rounds for them. So
yes, some worrying signs now for Atletico. They want to get at least one round here on their CT side. It's the best they can hope for.
Yes.
Infrequent has managed to buy up another AWP here, and we'll see if he can have any more of an impact in this round than the previous 2, because that's really where Atletico has been hurting at the moment. They've pretty much been playing 4v5 so far for the overtime.
Pressure the scenario getting into them a little bit here, but XL5 still need to close this out. It's not done. The Fat Lady has not sung yet. And we'll see it. See you. Frequent again is holding on this outside. Oh!
That was sharp coming from Mizu. Was he in midair when he shot that?
I don't think he was, but it really shouldn't look like he should have gotten that kill there. So again, Mizu sort of punishing Kyoto there for stepping out in the open a little bit. Ferg picks up the as well. So I think he's just walked back outside Pop Dog again there. So that's 3 frags down already for Atletico. And again, their defense just gets, once that first frag goes, they just sort of seem lost and they crumble there. Yeah. It's like they're picking out the key brick every time, the foundation brick, and everything else just
this time it was Kyoto, not Infrequent, who went down first, but the result was the same. Atletico finding themselves in a really disadvantaged position. 2 versus 5. Infrequent.
I have to go for it too.
I'm not sure exactly what he's doing over here on the B bomb site, but looks like he's trying to run around and rejoin Chutch, perhaps in Pop Dog there, but it is going to be Chutch starting to get on towards that A bomb site. Gets the kill onto Mizu, but still 4 more players from X5 to deal with, and Seth looking sharp with the AWP now in this overtime, and he's not going to be able to get much done here, Infrequent. I think he's almost given up.
Looks sure like it there. So 18-15, only 1 round away from picking up their first map in the best of 3. Atletico picked up the first one on Mirage, which, ironically enough, was XL5's pick, and Train is Atletico's pick. So we'll be going to Dust 2. If XL5 can pick up 1 more of these next 3 rounds, MR6 overtime, 16k to start with. So I can pretty much see Seth about to buy the AWP. There it is. And Infrequent is rolling with it as well, although it has had no impact with it whatsoever in the overtime.
Yeah, certainly someone that we're going to have to look to step up here. It looks like Athletico might be going for a quick A play, or perhaps just trying to chuck that smoke in there, put a bit of doubt in the minds of Exile5 here as they actually do make their way towards B with the bomb. They'll need to be careful though, Seth, floating around that smoke, looking for a quick peek and perhaps a quick pick as well.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about what Seth... Oh. This actually may have worked out for him here. Liaz is watching the angle, but what he doesn't realise is that just to his right here is Seth here. And Seth, if Infrequent goes to walk down, he could pick up...
Oh, he's surely heard the scope there, but a great shot coming out from Seth. He's surely going to get overrun here, or at least spammed out. In the end, it is Kyoto to pick up Seth there. Some good work from Exile5 coming out on this CT side. And need I remind you, if they win this round, they win the map.
Fergus made his way into the pop dog here as well, so hits it at a... perhaps an angle that Athletico won't check, although it is pretty common to do the flush drop there as well. In fact, Kyoto does check the angle, so well aware, and pulls it back into a 3 versus 3 scenario. So just basically, Zorbot is the only person alive here for Exile5 on the A-bomb side, and he's going to try and play it defensively. And basically, what he needs to do here is stay alive for as long as he can if Athletico choose to go towards the A-bomb site, which it does look like they're doing, and wait for the backup to come through. So.
Making their way out there. It's Zorbot up here in heaven. If he gets the pick on the bomb plant, which he won't, it could have been crucial, but he is in the end going to go down to Kyoto without having really any impact on that round whatsoever. And now Athletico looking poised to take this one. Infrequent will get a lot of damage across to Pex, but does get taken out. Still not a bad result from him. Mizu is going to go down to Sonic there, and Pex now only on 3 HP. Surely can't clutch this one out. Nice shot onto Kyoto, but it's not enough. Sonic saving the day there for Athletico.
18-16, Athletico notched their first one up on the T side. Exile5 only needing the 1 to close out the second map. Mizu sitting up on 34 kills still, so he's still getting a little bit of work done. We'll see how they choose to set up their defense to counter the Athletico's terrorist side prowess. And again, you can see the early smoke coming out from Athletico. Basically sits down between the trains here. It's designed to get Chutch out of the position where he is. He gets Seth. Wow. He takes down 2 here, and it's all coming crumbling down.
Great stuff coming out here from Chutz. Gets the 3K. Ferg eventually trades him out, but it's too little too late there for Exile5. 4 players still on the board here for Athletico, and Chutch is coming up with a mammoth 3K in this second round of the second half of overtime. Sonic demolishing Pex there as well. A very quick round coming out from the guys from Athletico Brotherhood, and they just need this one to force it into the second, I guess, iteration of overtime. But still, Exile5 are going to get a decent buyout into this one. It's not going to be easy street just yet for Athletico.
We'll see whether they choose to use that pace again. Perhaps Exile5 will be a little bit more wary of it. You can see the counter grenades coming in early. Ferg pushing right up towards the pop dog area. He has gained himself a position which is... it's a useful angle, however, he is lacking in cover severely, and he has a teammate there with him in terms of Mizu there. And the first pick goes to Seth. Sorry, that goes on Seth by Kyoto there. And again, that's going to put a little bit of pressure on the Exile5 defense. We spoke a lot about Athletico. Once they lose that first pick on the CT side, then it's pretty much all over Red Rover. So Exile5 have to avoid the similar fate there as well. And they're putting a little bit of... a gamble there as well, trying to push through the smoke there to get information to see what's going up because on the numbers disadvantage, and that's what that early pick will do to you, is trying to force you to make a move where you might not necessarily have to.
So Athletico finding themselves in a good position. They've already thrown away a 5v3 already, which looked like it was in the bag for them. So at least hopefully from their point of view, this is not going to happen once again. Infrequent just holding down the death alley there, but the rest of his teammates now making their way into the A site. He's going to spot out Mizu, I think, but didn't manage to get the shot off there. The Molotov is good. Zorbot trying to get some damage across, but won't really land any shots. He's been flanked around behind by Kyoto as well, who does get traded out by Mizu, but it's all the Athletico show at the moment. They're going to get the bomb down. It's a 1v3 here, and Athletico force it into OT2.
Pretty much similar sort of way that progressed on the second half as just the first half of overtime there. Early picks going the way of the terrorists, and then they're just rolling through. So both sides struggling to defend, train properly. Might end up being the case of you win one CT round and then you'll win the overtime. We'll see how it all works out.
Well, it's a fairly similar setup to the previous matchup here in the first half, or the first overtime. Athletico's running away with that single orb. Team Exile5 similarly doing the same. Oftentimes we see a double orb setup coming out in OT, but it can be a bit of a risk for the economy, so not entirely surprising to only see the single one. Chuch does get an entry frag onto Ferg, but immediately traded back by Mizu, so no real harm done there, but it should still favor Athletico a little bit. Will split the defense. This is risky coming through the smoke here, but it works out there for Liaz. Gets the pick onto Pex, and now that single player left on that B bomb site is going to be forced to fall back a little bit. Liaz taking the duel. I think it's Mizu down the other end there of the map. The bomb is going to go down here for Athletico. It's a 4 versus 3 in their favor. The Molotov restricting the movement here, but Seth not going to get a shot off here. He's going to throw a Molotov of his own, and really, Kyoto had nowhere else to go but into the scope there of Seth, and he obliges for Seth there.
This flank by Zorbot could be pretty important here. They are watching it, and he makes some noise just trying to decoy what's going on here. So just a flashbang out there. This could still be done by XL5. They could still retake here, but it's got to happen right now.
Certainly does. 2 for 2. There's not much time left on the clock here for Exile5. They need to move quickly. A crucial kill coming out from Zorbot, but the Molotov is making things difficult and impossible in the end there for Zorbot. Great work from Athletico there once again to pick up that round, and they go 19-18 up, but they'll have to rebuy every single gun.
Shouldn't be an issue with the extra money there in the case of being an MR3, staying with the 16,000, but you never know. It could cost them utility in the end, who we will see in the next round, I doubt, by the looks of things. So XL5 showed a little bit more promise that time than they did in the in that first, or the second half of the first overtime, being the second one now, as we get stuck into the second round of the second overtime. And we'll see again if Athletico can get that first pick and try and open up the defense a little bit, or whether XL5 will be able to shut it down and then continue on, because I feel like they have been just a slightly stronger in that mid to late round scenario. Even in this overtime, they've been a little bit weaker than they were in regular time, but they seem to be able to at least maybe make something happen.
Zorbot in an interesting position here. He's going to have a bit of a job to do. A couple of the Athletico players lurking around there, and he certainly knows that they are there. You can hear them moving around and jumping around and all that sort of thing. So just waiting, poised for the entry here from Athletico. I don't think that they have really any inkling that he's there. He should get the frag, and he does. If he doesn't get traded straight away, that's a great situation now for XL5. The 2 for 1 for Zorbot, and XL5 find themselves 4 and 3 up. Ferg might get caught out here on the green train. The ladder really not going to be helping out too much there. Chuch finds a second one as well. Such a fantastic player from this position, it seems. Really making it his own, at least in this overtime. And that's the second time that we've seen him make a good play from there. Now Athletico looking like they have the favor in their side.
Yeah, Chuch really stepping up in overtime, getting a lot of critical frags, like you mentioned there, but Pex comes back with one as well. So Chuch is stuck in a little bit of a situation here, but they've got the time working in their favor. Seth doesn't know where he is. He's going to drop off and probably try and save this AWP. Will he get away with it? Yes. Doesn't make a big deal. I feel like he probably could buy it again anyway, but it certainly allows everybody on the team to have full utilities, because he can just drop an M4 here for somebody who's a little bit lower. I don't think anyone's in dire straits for that, but double orb setup.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, this is something the desk spoke about on Mirage, is XL5 being slow to adapt. I mean, they tried this earlier in the map and it didn't work, but they're going to pull it out in the overtime now, and perhaps this will be the spark that they need to get basically one round on the CT side, and then they've got to go roll into that T side where they found it a lot easier.
Well, Athletico probably won't be expecting the double op to be coming out. I mean, I guess they would be aware that it could be a possibility, but XL5 haven't really utilized it at all today.
Just the once, yeah.
Yeah, so Athletico's probably not playing on their minds too much, and perhaps that might be something that can catch them off guard or something like that. Just these little things here for XL5 might be able to put them over in a round, and Ferg going to start off well there onto Chuch.
Yeah, but in the meantime as well, the attack goes onto the B-bomb side. Peck's picking up one initially there as well, but this is a good play there from Sonic. He's moving up rather than sitting way back and waiting for XL5 to come to them. So he's going to be able to potentially prove a little bit of a nuisance for them. But the retakes coming in from XL5 is looking great
how
as
does
well.
Sonic get that kill onto Ferg there? Well, it happens in the end. It's a 1v3 though here for Infrequent. If he can clutch this one out, all is forgiven. But no, it's not going to happen. Mizu with the AWP there, picking that one up. And in the end, it was actually Mizu to find a double kill with the AWP. Seth didn't find a single one. And that's the CT round there for XL5, which we didn't see coming out in the first overtime. So
Yes.
good, I guess a good first half of the second OT here for XL5, really.
An omen, perhaps, for what we're about to see, but we'll just see how it all comes out. So 19-20 is the score. This is the second half of the second overtime, the second map of the second day of the ESL Australia New Zealand Championship.
Season 1.
Season 1, unfortunately. But there will be a Season 2, it'll be, even more massive than what we've seen thus far. So, Church, well, he's been doing a lot of work, but now he is going to go, well, he hopes he's going to go to town with the old Dak Dak.
The auto sniper coming out here. We did see Destiny using it yesterday. It was on the T side of Cache, and he did use it to a reasonable effectiveness, but obviously a weapon that we don't see picked up too much. But, I mean, we'll see it come out here from Athletico. It could certainly work out well for them.
Yeah, he's soloing the inside site with that. So he's got the B-bomb site on lockdown. And, well, I guess probably the troubling thing about that decision there is Liaz picks up the first kill, which bodes very well for Athletico. Is Ferg has been the guy who's been walking out those bomb sites. And if you're not necessarily really focusing in on what you're doing, and perhaps he just gets a little bit lucky with the timing, and that could spell bad things. But that is not the case. As much as I talk up his chances, he gets taken down by Church there. So 5 versus 3 now in favour of Athletico, and they look like to take their first CT round.
Well, the game is up now for Athletico. XL5 are going to be aware, at least in the next round, that Athletico are running away with the Dak Dak and the AWP. Unless, of course, Athletico decide to buy something else, but that probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense considering the investment for the Dak Dak there. So we'll see what happens here for XL5 in the next round. I think this can be written off more so as a bit of an information play this round, but it does seem like they are starting to get a little bit of something coming back into this round. Zorbot and Seth finding one apiece. They've got a 3 versus 5, 3 versus 2 rather, make that a 1 versus 3 now as we do see Zorbot going down. But still, you know, not a bad round coming out here from XL5. They've at least been able to get something out of it. They've got the information now heading into the next round.
If he could kill, I don't know where Church is sitting right now, but Liaz just picks off Seth there as he tries to get the bomb down. But I was going to say, that if he could pick up the Dak Dak kill, that's a lot of cash taken off the side. So 21-19 now is the scoreline. And Athletico looking to consolidate here and try and give it away. Double AWP again on the T side this time. Throwing a lot in this round.
Big round coming out here for XL5. They need to win this one. Double AWP, as you mentioned here, on T side. Seth and Mizu taking those away as expected. And again, it seems like XL5 not too keen to play that quicker game. They're really just sitting here around, looking for the picks with the double AWPs, playing slow, and not taking too many overly aggressive risks.
And it has not worked for them. Infrequent winning the duel at Ivy, taking down Seth there and the AWP v AWP. And Mizu is left to pick the inside site. There are 2 players waiting there for him. Church is sitting towards the connector with his Dak Dak. And sitting back on the site here is Sonic as well. He's trying to anchor down this B-bomb site, which is where the bomb is slowly but surely heading towards. And they're going to try and work their way out. Mizu is going to try and walk out basically with AWP. He's been spotted and taken out there by Church, and now he's going to get the spam going through here. Sonic coming through with another kill there as well. Pex finally trades it off, but Zorbot's on the outside as well. And there it is. That is all done and dusted.
22-19 in the favour of Athletico there. 2-0 the map scores overall. And a pretty reasonable performance. They got pushed there by XL5 at the end, but got it done. And that was good to see for Athletico. So they'll go on to face Parallax, I believe. Although the loser of the next match.
Loser of the next match,
that's right.
correct. Yeah, the loser. So the next match would be the Parallax versus Chiefs. And whoever loses that will go on to play the Athletico Brotherhood. As you can see, a GG's being exchanged there between players. It was a good contest in the end. There, I guess We spoke about XL5. Took a little bit of a while to work into their way into the Chiefs battle yesterday.
Yeah.
And you could probably say something a little bit similar as well. I think got up there a little bit early, but yeah, overall it was a good effort, but not quite enough to sort of get them over the line there. And I guess a lot of it for me as well is, again, like we saw in Mirage, is they got lucky getting into some of the bomb sites there and being able to walk down on low ramp here or at Ivy there and just find a pick out of nowhere. I said it during the cast as well. It's not necessarily something you can count on happening and winning your rounds.
Yeah, it certainly was an interesting game, and I'm sure the analysis desk has plenty to say about it, so we'll throw it over to them to break down that matchup.
Thanks, Selfish Guy. Yes, the boys certainly do. I wish we could take some of the discussion we had while the game was going on, just replay it a little bit later, because some of those decisions going on during that game, Ian, you weren't particularly convinced about. And some of the time, XL5 actually looked really good. They looked like a team that could win.
Yeah.
But in the end, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I totally thought XL5 were going to run away with that map just because of the convincing fashion that they were winning their rounds. And when they were winning their rounds, they were like pretty dominant. People just running out in the open into those open angles, just not being checked. And then you'd see, a couple of guys just get 2 kills, 2 entry frags untraded. And that's the kind of stuff that they actually need to bring into their game. And I was also trying to make a point of that Ferg wasn't really the standout fragger for them this game, and yet this is probably one of their best games of the tournament because the rest of the team was finally doing something. Mizu was standing up, and he got a 30 bomb in regulation. Zorbot was playing well again as usual, and I think that, like we said, that's their secret to success. But I just think a few decisions didn't go their way, and that's what ended up being the end for them.
There was a few decisions that they made in key moments as well. I think we draw it back to... I think it was about 11 all in that round. They left the bomb in halls and they'd hit the outside. It was a miscommunication. It ultimately made the map go into overtime.
Yeah, and like we said, that was an exact replay of the exact situation that Mizu was in yesterday. But Athletico just played that perfectly, whereas XL5 threw it away. So, yeah, that was just another round where you just thought... This is just throwaway, really. And then, and speaking of throwaways, XL5 just seemingly forgot their secret to success in that second overtime. They just went back to their slow, picky style that wasn't really working out. And as you saw, that fast pace getting down the alleyways unchecked that you saw from Chuch, where he just kept getting 2 frags every round. That's the kind of stuff that Australian CS is open. It's open to you a lot. So you should gamble on that a bit more often.
And particularly on a map like Train too, it allows players who have that game sense and that play style to really step up. And we saw Chuch do it so many times it wasn't funny. And that's his natural game style. A map like Train allows him a lot of angles to work with.
Fair enough.
In fact, let's
take a look. Let's take a little replay first, and I'll come back to you. We have Infrequent here on his pistol, picking up a triple. Look at this. How many? What is that, Ian? Is that just crouching model? Could he go crouching model?
That's just hitboxes.
He recovered well, though.
He recovered very well.
And he made a bit of noise about it as well, I think.
Well, what I was going to say was that's the Athletico we expected. Like, it's not 100% Athletico, but it's the Athletico that can have these huge individual players across the board. That's the one that we expected to see yesterday, and it's good to see them finally stepping up, finding some form, and then actually giving us something to hope for in the next couple of B03s. So it's looking pretty good for them.
What do you think about this Athletico team that we just saw then, Jim?
Well, for starters, they're here, they're arrived. Yesterday, I think they left themselves elsewhere. At the moment, they look a little bit more confident. Obviously, the win against XL5 was far from perfect, but it was still a win. Yeah. So these guys are building into this tournament. Perhaps it's a little bit too little, too late. We would have liked to have seen a performance like this yesterday against Parallax. It probably wouldn't have gotten them over the line, but it certainly would have been a better showing for them. So I think they need to now sit back, relax, watch their opposition in Chiefs or Parallax, and go from there.
Fair enough. Let's take a look at another replay from that last game between XL5 and Athletico. We've got Mizu up here on top of the train. Let's see, he's up against 2-on-4 here, trying to get the bomb plant down.
Yeah, this was a key round for them too because it looked done and dusted. Yeah. So he tried his best, but
what could have been? It was a what could have been.
If he planted there, it would have been different, right?
He was.
You don't reckon?
No, there's this guy coming out small ladder that had him covered. I'm surprised he even got the bomb down. But just think if he peeked the low HP guy first, then he might have had a chance. But yeah, that was a pretty good round from Mizu, and that just showed that when they have confidence, they can actually take it to these guys. So I think there's a lot for these guys to take out of it if they look back over their games. And on that token, I also think Athletico, they can't rest on their laurels and take a rest now. I think they need to come back into the crowd and really focus on this next game. And by some token, I do think they should reflect on the game they just played as well if they can. But there's probably not enough time for them to do
I think mostly what they should take away from this game is studying their opponents in their map veto choices as well.
Yeah.
We saw yesterday some pretty average selections, I thought, in the veto from Atletico. Today, they're more vetoing to their strengths and not their opposition's weaknesses.
Yeah, but at the same time, I was talking to the EXL5 manager. I think they failed their veto by vetoing overpass. But the reason for that is they don't play overpass. But at the same time, we just saw them try to play it yesterday and it was miserable. So I would have left it in there just for a bit of a faith pick that they're not going to pick overpass.
You don't have to be the best of the map. You just have to be better than your opponents playing it at the moment, surely.
Yeah, and I've played those XL5 guys on overpass before. They're no slouches, but it's just one of those things. They must have just let it drift out of their map pool because no one else wants to play.
Let's take a look at one more replay from that final game there. On train, and here with Chachi picks up one. There's a second. And that certainly opened up this round when he picks up the third there as well before getting cleaned up.
Well, that's a classic example of what we said he was doing so well in this match, was just getting out of T-Con unchecked. And that landed him 3 kills in an overtime round that sent Atletico with their momentum through to the victory. So
yeah. Look, I think it's interesting, right? So Atletico, obviously, they didn't show yesterday. Today, they've come through. They played okay. We now have Chiefs up against Parallax in our winners bracket final. If Parallax play how they played yesterday and Chiefs don't necessarily come to the party, I feel there's certainly an opportunity for Atletico to step up one more level and take on Chiefs in the lower bracket final. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I actually think that regardless of who loses this game, there's a good chance that Atletico could get over the top of them. Because to lose this game, it's almost a showing of that the form isn't going to be as high as we saw yesterday. And we can see now that XL5 gave Atletico a pretty good run for their money. But yeah, Atletico are warming into this tournament. There was always a chance that they would actually show up eventually. Yeah. And to get over the line against XL5s gives them that opportunity to redeem themselves. And whoever loses this game, they're going to be pretty upset with the loss, and then they're going to have to take on an Atletico who are pretty much rallying right now.
Yeah, would you agree with that, Jim?
Yeah, the black and white, it's completely different the way they played today as opposed to the way that they played yesterday. So there is that scenario where that could happen.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick break here. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors, Zeus, Razer and HyperX. Next up here, live from ESL Studios in Sydney, Australia, is going to be our winner bracket finals. The Chiefs Esports Club up against Parallax. We'll be back right after this.